Okay, there we go. I think you guys should be able to hear me now. So, is there anyone around? I've started my stream. Guys, again, this is an unscheduled stream, and it's the day before the reset for Slashdiablo, so I imagine that no one's here chilling in chat just waiting for me. Hey, Vardamus! Hey! Yo, you're still around! Oh, shit. No new singer. Is that what's written on my stream title? I hope it's not. That's not right. If it is. Ratch! Whoa, you guys are all here. That's amazing. I didn't actually expect you guys to all show up from the get-go here. It's good to see all of you. JP, Bartimus, Ratch. So JP, no, I'm not making a new singer. I'm just playing my my Poison Necro today because it's I just wanted to chill out. Just want to play the build. Well, I mean, tomorrow's the ladder reset. I could play my Fury Druid because it's the build I was using this season. I'm going to probably get some runs in with the Fury Druid later today, but I'm not going to do that right this second. I'd actually like to have some fun with my Poison Necro. Ratch was asking, yo, how you been, brother? I have been okay. I've definitely seen better days, I will say, but overall, I've been fine. Yeah, in fact, I'm you know, in good enough a status that I can actually take part in tomorrow's reset. So that's looking really awesome, really fun and dandy. I'm looking forward to it. How about you, Wretch? It's good to see you. How have you been? Are things going okay with you? Hope you're doing well. And Bartimus is saying LMAO sub D2. So that's basically yeah, nothing much. I just wanted to get a stream in today because it is the final day before the slash reset, as I'm sure many of you, well, maybe not many of you guys might know, but some of you guys might know. So yeah, I wanted to get a nice little stream in, just short and, well, I don't know about short and sweet, but I'm not going to go like super ham on it. I just wanted to, yeah, I'm just going to play, you know, probably going to do like 2-ish hours of gameplay, and then I'm going to call it after that. Again, just hanging out, just wanted to catch up with you guys, see how things are going, and then let you guys know, you know, that there's like a thing going on with the slash reset, obviously. And that's kind of where I'm going to be headed for next, the upcoming days. No, hey Nishi. No, this is not the famous Holy Freeze only Paladin. You know, I'm not gonna lie, that actually sounds like a really fun build. That's something I need to talk about too. So, let's get right down to business because there's some things that I don't think I've ever really done this. Well, no, I have, but not like this. So there are some topics that I want to cover with today's stream. If no one has any like specific questions, Ratch, it's good to hear that you're doing well. Yeah, I hope you continue to do well, especially going into the upcoming months. Are you planning to take part in this season's reset, Ratch? So, yeah, like I said, funny that you should, Nishi, that you should mention the Holy Freeze Paladin, because actually, one of the things I was going to talk about was what I'm planning to do for next season. I know some people traditionally have hung around this stream. They know that I usually do. Yeah, hey, Lamau, it's good to see you, man. How are things going with you? You doing all right? And you still playing, what's that game? Warzone? Let's see. I think, yeah, sure, might as well just identify this GC. Nice little 2-minute run. I'm always on YouTube while I'm at work. Oh, while I work. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I mean, you've come to the right place if your intention is to have something to listen to while you work. Although, yeah, the fact that you're working at this hour is kind of interesting. Although I'm not sure. Yeah, no, at this hour. I think it's like... You're in Europe, right, Bartimus? Or am I mistaken? Well, either way, it would be late no matter where. Or exceptionally early, one of the two. It's been a while, bro. Hope you've enjoyed your time away from the grind. So I was going to talk about that. I mean, like, if I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But at the same time, like... At the same time, it's... Even though I've been away from the grind, I don't think it's the grind that kind of gets me saying like, oh, well, I don't... How do I say this? Basically, even though I've been away from the grind for a long time, it's not like being away from the grind has re-energized me for grinding out this upcoming season, like tomorrow. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I'm good, how am I? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Yeah, thanks for checking up on me. I was going to talk more about that after I get to respond to you guys, because there are some things, like I mentioned, that I would really like to talk about. I get shadow banned like once a week. Oh, bloody hell, that sounds awful. No, PST. Oh, delivery driver. Oh, okay. Okay, awesome. So you're on YouTube while working as a delivery driver? That sounds a little dangerous. Like, you can't really work and drive at the same time, can you? Or am I mistaken? Yep. Anyway, so yeah, it's good to see that most of you guys are doing well. I hope you guys continue to do well. Yeah, yeah, and it really is nice that you guys have all stopped by to say hello. I was wondering how long it would take for people to show up, and more than that, how many people would show up, because it's been a long time. I don't have a schedule, and despite that, there is a surprising number of you guys who have shown up and are just hanging out. So. Yeah, I've been learning more about blockchain and NFTs. Oh yeah, I want to say who hasn't, but I haven't, so I guess that's not technically something that I can say. I listen only. Listen only. Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. You're just having me in the background. Although I know that you're also messaging me back too while you're driving, I guess? I don't know. But either way, it's good to have you on board with us, and yeah. I will hopefully entertain you as I usually do with most, or try to do with most streams. I will, so, Amazon drivers a while, and yeah. Okay, so, yeah, so let's get right into it. So there's okay. First of all, thanks everyone for showing up. I've said that a few times, but I really do appreciate it. I think, as you guys know, I've been gone for a pretty long time. I think my last stream was like, what, 3 months ago? And some of you might have questions, or maybe not. Like, you know, you might be wondering what I'm playing this upcoming season. You might be wondering where I've disappeared off to, like where I've been in the last couple weeks. Or, sorry, last couple months. Like, I know A. Lamau usually would even poke fun at my disappearing acts, always being like, well, sorry, he would probably say, like, normally he's like, yeah, I mean, you know, there he is, he's, you know, played, like, for the weekend, and now he's gone for the rest of the season, and as much as I hate to say it, this is kind of the sad reality of the situation right now, but anyway, I'll talk more about that in a bit. And also, I do apologize that not only have I not been around in the last couple weeks, or last couple months, I should say. I keep thinking weeks, but it's obviously more than that. But more than that, it's been a while since I've streamed Diablo 2, so if I am a bit rusty, you guys are gonna have to bear with me. Yeah, so for today's stream in particular, like I said before, I'm not really gonna be doing anything. Labar! How's it going, man? It has been a while. How have you been? Hope you're doing well, or hope you're doing great. Yeah, I'm just here talking about kind of like what I've been up to and just plans for the upcoming season. And also, oh, here's the other thing too. Some of you guys, well, I mean, I've already gotten a lot of Discord DMs about this. Some people were asking kind of how I feel about D2R, particularly the 2.4 patch, and I do have some thoughts to share about that. So, yeah, yeah, so while I have my Poison Necro out and I'm just crushing things in preparation for the next season, I will start addressing a few of these. Okay, so first of all, next season, okay? Next season, yes, of course I'll be playing. I think this is, I mean, if this isn't obvious enough, I haven't missed a season since I've started playing on Slash. That is a tradition that I don't plan to get rid of. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't even really been around on Discord even, but I think even when I, like, you know, the thing is, like, playing Diablo 2 by itself is fun, but it's not something that really hooks me. It's when I actually start up Slash and I'm playing with like you guys or like people from the Slash community that it really gets me hyped up. Like this, like I mean this in all sincerity. Like I started up the when I opened up Discord, and I saw like there were a lot of people asking me, oh yeah, like are you going to be playing, and you know the resets taking place, and some people posting their finds, and like DPS showing an analyses of like who has the most wealth and all that stuff. It really it always reminds me every season. This might seem a bit ridiculous, but I sometimes forget, like I lose sight of the fact that when when I go to like get ready to play a new season of Slashdiablo on ladder reset, I think to myself, oh man, am I ready to play more D2? Am I ready to grind out? But that's not really what I should be looking at, and I always forget that. But what I always forget is that the fun part about playing Diablo 2, particularly on Slash, is the people. As cheesy as that sounds, like playing with, you know, people from here, just talking, chatting, chilling, going through reset together, the banter, trading, you know, rushing, doing runs together, being on Discord, hanging out, chatting about life, doing weird, wild stuff, and just, you know, that kind of stuff. Like that is what makes the D2 experience so fun for me. And in fact, it's kind of one of the reasons why I'm still streaming even now, because I know that, like, you know, if I wanted to like go and make this a big stream and wanted to do some crazy shit, okay, well, I obviously could I have done it? Maybe. Some of you might agree that I could have. Some of you might say that I, you know, like there's more to it than what I have going for me, but I definitely would have taken a different approach, right? I could really care less here's the thing, like I could care less about growth. I could care less about, you know, maintaining like a regular schedule and hitting it big. No, I'm here because I enjoy playing Diablo 2 and I enjoy hanging out with you guys while I play Diablo 2, and that's always been the case, and that will probably always continue to be the case at the end of the day. Yeah, like, I guess bottom line is, I just simply, well, yeah, that's basically it. Like, I'm definitely taking part next season because, you know, unless I'm, like, deathly ill, I probably, actually, even when I think I was deadly ill a while ago, I was still playing on Slash a couple seasons back. If I recall correctly, there was a point in time where I did catch a cold, and it was pretty bad, but even then, I still took part on Slash, despite how I felt. Yeah, anyway, so that's basically that. Hey, Brandon, what's up, man? I totally agree, says Brandon. That is what killed me with D2R on console. The old D2 community is so toxic. I love it. Look, I believe that console had a different set of problems going for it as well, okay? Like, in terms of... Like, no, seriously, like, you gotta consider that more than just the lack of persisting community, there's just things about console that just weren't very easily accessible. Like, I do think that, straight up, if you were going to, you know, do this stuff on console, you need to have something like, you know, put 5 points into a certain skill, or into a certain stat type, or like, you know, put X number of points into it for console, or even just for PC players. Like, why do we have to click like 300 times? Or why does somebody have to press on a button 300 times? Like, things like that, I feel like also contributed to why console and Switch were not really all that great on, well, I mean, even now, I was gonna say on release, but even now, I don't think that they've fixed these problems. Like, straight up PC player or console players got kind of shafted, I feel like, and there's a bit of a wasted opportunity there, and I'll talk more about that later. But I want to get into the rest of what I was trying to talk about. Fatty, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. And oh, it's you, huh? Hello. You I've seen recently. It's not even a Wednesday. It doesn't have to be. Our dates can be any day of the week when we want them to be, and I happen to want them, or I happen to want to do it now, so I'm doing it now. Especially because the ladder reset is actually going to be tomorrow for Slashdiablo. So this is, to be honest, like I was going to stream yesterday, but I had, well, I had last minute plan alterations. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to stream yesterday. So today is the day for me to stream, I guess. It's basically the bottom line. Okay, great. Okay, so going back to, yeah, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing okay, Fatty. Thanks for, yeah, thanks for your wishes. I hope you're doing well, though. Yeah, I mean, it's always a pleasure to have you around, and yeah, with the reset tomorrow, I hope you are in good condition to play. Not gonna lie, I was gonna ditch our brunch on Saturday for a date, so I'm glad you canceled it for slash reset. Oh yeah, of course, dude. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. But I mean, honestly though, life priorities. I don't know what to tell you. That's awesome. I hope you have fun with your little silly little date. But anyway. So let me get back on track here. As people show up, you know, I'm going to try to greet y'all as you come in. But like I said, there are quite a number of things I wanted to talk about today, and I don't intend to end my stream until I finish going over all of them. This season Cow event day poggies, yeah, no, it's exciting, but I don't know if I'll have anything too crazy for you guys for All Cows Day this time around. Yeah, the three things I wanted to cover today, and I think Hom would also be particularly interested in some of these things, or maybe not actually. You might be curious about Hom. I'm sure you're curious about my thoughts on D2R, and particularly 2.4, I think, is coming out. So that's something that I wanted to address today as well, and I'll do that. But first, let's go in this by order. So. Next season, like I said, yes, I'll be playing. I don't know what I'm going to be playing yet. That's what I was going to say. So, none of you guys have asked me yet, surprisingly. Ko, I would have expected to ask me about this, but he's not around. He's already actually asked me. I realize I should probably respond back to him. But, yeah, I actually don't know I haven't decided what I'm going to play yet, plain and simple. I thought I had an idea, and then I realized that I don't know if I want to go through with said idea. So I need to actually give that some thought. There we go. That's good. Yeah, no joke. Won't be able to play on reset this time. Maybe around starting month of June. Okay, sounds good. Why should we ask? We know you won't tell us. That's fair. But, I mean, most people aren't you. Some people are going to ask regardless. And some people wonder where I'm at regardless of how much information I'm willing to disclose. And, you know, some people haven't been around that long, but enjoyed my stream despite having been here for maybe once or twice, you know. Anyway. So yeah, where were we here? So, yeah, like I said, I'm going to be playing next season. I'm still, honestly, I have to figure out what I'm going to play for this season. I'm not sure what else to say there. I have to figure this out tonight or tomorrow night, or tomorrow morning, obviously, so that's basically what my evening is going to be, more likely than not. But I will say, though, I don't think, and I think this is kind of what you guys would guess, but I don't think I'm going to be going ham this season. I'm not going to be going full try hard like the season I played my Nova Ball Sork, or even my, like, I don't even think I'm going to go 2 weeks like I did with the season that I played my Tri-Elemental Sorceress. Yeah, I mean, and that's not really dependent on wealth. Even this season, I actually had a Burr rune and like some extra high runes, and this is actually a relatively cheap build, and I could have gone a lot farther with it, but I straight up never actually, well, I mean, I didn't go any further because I just don't have the time for it these days. Going full bacon instead. Making better than ham. Brandon was, okay, so let me address your question after. Well, actually, you know what? No, it's tied to this topic, so I'll answer you on this, Brandon. So Brandon was asking, what classes am I thinking? Probably not Sork. Yeah, no, Sork is probably the least likely. And then probably after, well, actually, no. The least, what did I play this season? Druid? Yeah, honestly, Sorka's least likely, and then after that, anything's on the table. Although I would very, very much prefer not to play a Druid, because I already played a Druid this season. So, well, okay, I mean, yeah, this upcoming season, I want to play something that's, I mean, this is usually how it goes. If I play a character, like a Druid or a Zon or whatever, I don't want to play it the following season, and this season is obviously no exception. I would rather play anything aside from that or Sork. So pretty much everything else is on the table, and I'm still trying to find ways, or something I could use. I had something in mind, but I haven't really gotten it to work very well. And I could use it. I could actually use it and spend an additional like 10-15 hours farming until I have like decent gear and then roll with it. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, is that really gameplay I want to put out there, that I want you guys to see, that I want to do, So that's really something that I'm still wrestling with, and I haven't really fully decided. So yeah, hopefully that does answer your question. Melee Sork, says Brandon. Okay, so yeah, Melee Sork is an available option, but I frankly don't really want to play a Melee Sork, for lack of a better way of putting it. Hey, Ko, what's up, man? Good to see you. Is Poison Nova Part 3 on the table? Yeah, honestly it is. I've been putting it off for a long time. I legitimately was, like, I've talked about this before, I was supposed to play Poison Necro. So here's the thing, right? Like, I played on Slash for about 14, I think, or 15 seasons, and every season I play something different. And I played Poison Necro, well, I usually do rotations, okay? Well, the first 8 seasons I played on Slash, I played, Barb, Druid, Assassin, Zon, Necro. I basically played each of the classes at least one time, alright? And the following 7 seasons that came, or the following 6 seasons that came after that, I played another class every single time, with the one exception being the Poison Necro, which I played twice back-to-back in the first rotation. Now, the one class I skipped was Necro, because I straight up didn't really want to play Necro last season, but I would like to play Poison Necro again at some point, just not quite this, just not right now, okay? So, yeah, Poison Necro Part 2 is definitely something which I should consider, that I would consider doing. But I would really rather try to come up with something fun and unusual and cool, and that I haven't really done, because straight up, that just sounds to me like it could be a lot more fun. So that's probably what I'm going to go with. Thoughts on D2R new level 85 areas? So I'll talk more about D2R last, because that's the topic that I'd have the most thoughts on. And yeah, I want to get through everything else first. Oracular could become the Grail meta, yeah, and then Brandon with the tongue face. Hammered in season, let's go. Okay, so no, I'm not gonna. Okay, that's a little too extreme. Not gonna go that. No, it's not gonna be that crazy. So, anyway, yeah, that's, what about an Avenger Pally? I think my issue with playing a Paladin, just generally speaking, whether it's Hammered In or Avenger or whatever, right? Because I mean, Avenger is definitely something that I would be kind of interested in playing, and then also it was brought up earlier, the idea of Holy Freeze Paladin, both of which sound like perfectly reasonable ideas, fun, masochistic perhaps, but still, you guys know me, would be something worth trying. But I played Holy Shock Paladin, I think, just last season, so I don't really feel like playing another Paladin. I'd rather play something else. Assassins, well, maybe not Zon. You guys know how I feel about Zon, but what are some of the other options available? Heck, even, well, no, I've already played Druid. Trying to think here. Barb, another Barb build. I don't think I've done a Barb recently. You know, there's other classes which I would rather give first pick. Have you done that? Avenger Pally, no, like, again, no, I haven't done Avenger Pally, at least I haven't shown it for you guys, but when you say, like, isn't Holy Freeze just a modification of a Zealot? Well, again, like, I'm played a Holy Shock Paladin, and I feel like it'd be kind of interesting to see how a Holy Freeze Paladin would match up. Personally, because again, it's one of those lesser used builds that would be fun to kind of like give some sort of attention towards, I guess, if that makes sense. Okay. Happy to see you shooting off to bed, but look forward to seeing your new character. I'm going Spear Zon when 2.4 comes out. Okay, excellent. Sounds good. I guess you're going to miss my thoughts on D2R's D2R's 2.4 patch, but maybe you can catch it after the stream's over, if you care for it. If not, then you can always just ask me next time, but I really did want to have a chance to talk about this. Anything, a modification of existing... yeah, no, Coaster is actually right. Yeah, I mean, Zeal is sort of a standard Pally build, true, but that certainly didn't stop me from playing Shock Pally, or Holy Shock Pally now, did it? So that really wouldn't be a good argument regardless. Avenger seems very different. Why? Because I just melee something? I mean, I guess. Technically, Avenger is like a charge Pally. Well, I guess I haven't done a charge Pally, but... yeah, I mean, I'm not a stranger to playing or doing builds which are already standard. Like, I played a Boazon, but I had my own spin to it, and the same thing kind of goes with, like, Holy Shock Pally, right? Or Tesladin. It's like, yeah, people play it, but, I mean, I'm still good to give it a spin, especially because I might have my own twist to it, perhaps. And there will be both an endpoint allotment and gear choices, yes. Playstyle... yeah, well, I mean, all three. I mean, it's still correct. So I'm with Coaster on this one. But this streamer sucks. Hey, LeBron. Funny timing. It's good to see you. It is really good to see you. It's really. It's funny that you should say that, because that actually was going to lead me into my... well, that kind of leads me into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which... yeah, some people might be wondering what I've been up to. I was going to say very briefly... without going too much into detail about my personal life, there's been a lot of things that have happened lately, and that will continue to happen, which unfortunately also means that I'm probably not going to have a chance to go ham again for a long, long time, if ever. At least not anymore, and I do apologize for that, because it's kind of a shame, since, yeah, like, there's actually so much in this game that well, there's so much that I've done in this game, and there's so much that I've shown you in this game. Yeah, Coaster. But anyway, there's a lot I've done in this game, and that I've shown you, and that I still want to do with this game. But I just can't. I just don't have the time for it these days, like I used to. And I'm sorry about that. It's not even tied to wealth either. Like, last season, you might think, oh man, you're playing a Fury Druid, you're broke as shit. It's like, no, actually, I had a Burr, and I had even more than that lying around, because... you know, just out of sheer luck. That's the nature of the game. And you might think, oh, yeah, that would motivate you to want to keep playing more. Because I wasn't like, yeah, my Fury Druid was finished, but there was still so much more I could have done. I've got other secret cool builds that I could show you guys, and frankly, you know, I wasn't actually finished last season. But, you would think that despite me being rich as shit, well, not really rich as shit, but actually having stuff to trade, that that would make me want to play more. But no, unfortunately these days I just have other things that I need to do and take care of, and I'm sorry about that. And I'll be honest, it's to the point where I actually even considered shutting down this channel altogether, which might be a bit of a shocker. But here's the thing. Honestly, I'm kind of sick of... I mean, for lack of better words, I actually make promises to you guys. I tell you guys, hey, this season I'm going to do blank, and it's going to be a blast. Oh, that season I'm going to do blank. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, I have this whole season mapped out, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do a stream once every week, and, you know... And I don't know, it hurts because you guys have always been so supportive for years and years and years. Like, you know, not decades or anything like that, but, you know, we've had people here since it feels like the beginning of time. Hom's been around for a while, but even people like LeBron have been here for like, what, since 2016, I think? He's been here like a long time, you know, and I appreciate it. I really do, and it sucks that it's like, oh, well, yeah, guys, I have some cool things hyped up for you guys, but here's the thing, okay? Like, LeBron is the easiest example, and Co, sorry, of course. How could I forget? How could I forget to mention Co too? I just saw LeBron, so I went with LeBron, but you know, Co and I have been theory crafting for years, like coming up with a new build each season. We commiserate over these woes of creating a new build, and it's always a blast. And I don't know, it just sucks that I let you guys down every time, or at least that's how I feel. All right, but I also acknowledge that most of you guys are just here to hang and chill out. So really, that's just me overthinking things, I imagine. Yeah, it took me some time to really kind of make peace with that. But also, unfortunately, what it means is the sad reality is I just straight up don't have, you know, there's like a lot of cool things I'd love to show you guys, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to these days. Yeah, he birthed it himself a few weeks ago. Yes, clearly. No, well, okay, so I will say no, I'm not, again, I don't want to go too deep into that because that's its own can of worms, but no, I'm not, like, deep in Ukraine and fighting. Yeah, no, that's not it, fortunately for me. I tried, well, and at the expense of other people, of course, but anyway. Tried finding D2 baby items a couple of months ago. Baby items? D2 baby? Oh, you mean, I thought you were just saying you were trying to find me baby items, and I realized you mean like on D2R, I guess. Even on Etsy. Etsy? I don't even know what you mean. Either that or he had a kid. Don't worry, never believe you anyways. Yeah, well, I mean, I've come to realize that, yeah, I break promises enough, and I realize that, yeah, you're basically in, well, I'm basically in the boat of GRRM. I actually had a discussion with somebody about this a while back. That's part of what prompted me to realize. I'm like, yeah, it kind of sucks to kind of be like, oh, yeah, hey, guys, I'm going to do this and that, and then just never do it, never follow up on it, right? I can understand, like, as a content creator myself, I can kind of understand, like, why this happens sometimes. Like, you make these big things that you want to do, you aim big, and then you realize that, oh, well, you just don't have the time for it, or there's just too much work involved in it, and it kind of sucks, but that's kind of what happens. Anyway. So, LeBron is saying, no, please don't shut down the channel. Don't worry, I'm not. That's just, I was talking about my thought process and sort of what I've come to realize and just things that I've thought about lately, and I kind of wanted to share that with you guys because, again, it's been a long time and it would be nice to get some of these things off my chest because, yeah, it's kind of like I'm looking, honestly, I've been looking at the timeline. It's been many years since I've started this channel. And honestly, like, every season I talk about, or in the past, like, when I used to do my streams back in 2016, 2017, 2018, I used to talk about looking at, like, the big picture and looking at the things I've done, and I had all this mapped out, and maybe you guys didn't really ever pay that much attention or look too deeply into it, but, you know, I have had everything mapped out pretty nicely in terms of, like, things I wanted to do each season, not just the builds, okay, but I'm talking about, like, where to farm. Like, I had this big ongoing project going where, and I'll talk more about this perhaps later, about things that I've been doing that I wanted to, that I could have done. But yeah, like, think about my first, like, Poison Necro season. I did 1,000 runs of Chaos Sanctuary, and then I did 1,000 runs of AT with my Fury Druid, or my Hurricane Druid, Cold Druid. Then it was followed up by, like, then I did like 1,000 run, well, 800, see, that's another unfinished project, 800 runs with my Singer Barbarian. Yeah, 800 runs with my Singer Barb, of the pits, and then I did 1,000 runs of pits with my Swapcast Heli Boas on, and then I did 1,000 runs of Mausoleum with my Fire Cause Druid. See, that one, like, I actually committed to that. I'm proud of myself for that. But after that, like, that wasn't supposed to be the end of it. I was supposed to do 1,000 WSK. With my Holy Shock Pally, I never actually made it there. But what I was actually supposed to do, the season with my Holy Shock Pally, was I was actually supposed to run at least 250 Halls of Pain, was what I was thinking. You know, like, I wanted to do, like, oh yeah, and then of course the season with my Barb, I wanted to actually run 2, or was it 3,000 traps, and I had never actually made it that far. I only made it to 500, right? And it's kind of like, there's a lot of things I would really like to do, a lot of projects I've started, and I wanted to, like, do this big thing where I kind of compare the results of every area, and I thought it would be really fun and fine and dandy to do. And I've never even finished either. Like, last season, I was playing, what was it called? Not Fireclaw's Druid. Who was it? Who did I play last season? I can't even remember anymore. Not the season that I just, like, I played the Fury Druid this season. I know that. What was the season before? Was it the... No, it wasn't a bear. It's never a letdown. I love the banter. Yeah, and I'm glad for that. I really am. It's that level of support that is partly what drives me to keep streaming, even though I'm straight up not being paid for it. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure that if I were to start up a donations page for you guys, I'm sure that some of you, well, some people from, like, who swing by the channel would gladly donate. But again, like, I don't care for that. I just want to, like, hang out and chill and have fun with a bunch of cool people, and you guys are a bunch of cool people. Otherwise, if not for that, I straight up would not be streaming all that much. Or sorry, I'm already not streaming that much, but I straight up probably wouldn't even be streaming at all. That's frankly the reality. It's partially because this community has been so great and so kind to me that, yeah, I still do this to this day. So that's what I can say about that. Am I really not able to reach from this distance? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, Ko was saying there are only so many builds you can play, and you're limited by RNG as well. So, as I've mentioned before, I never actually... okay. So it's easy enough to say there are only so many builds you can play, but the simple reality is I have not run out of builds to play. That's another thing, too. Things I've done aren't just limited to, like, 1,000 runs of this, 1,000 runs of that. The builds are another thing, too. And there hasn't really been a season where I've sat down and said to myself, shit, I've run out of ideas. Run out of good ideas maybe, but I've never run out of ideas. Even now, this upcoming season, I know one of the, well, what I had in mind, I gave it a spin. I realized probably not the best idea, but I might still go through with it anyway. You guys will see tomorrow on the reveal as per the usual, I guess, because, I mean, even if I wanted to tell you guys today, I can't because I haven't really finalized anything. Don't forget the 5 runs of Maggot Lair 3 on an H-Din you didn't get to. Yeah, that's true, Fever. See, that's another thing too, right? Like, do I want to play a Hammerdin? No. Did I want to farm Maggot Lair? Actually, yeah. There's even a build that I had for wanting to farm Maggot Lair. That's another thing too. I was supposed to run 1,000 Maggot Lairs, perhaps Maggot Lair 1, 2, or 3. I'm not sure if I'm going to do level 3 only or all 3. Probably level 3. Hom is saying, it's true. I come for the nudes, but I stay for the banter. Okay, fair enough. Coaster was saying, IMO taking a break where you play whatever you want is in order, especially if you have a little time. No, that's not the problem. Okay, honestly, okay, more on that in a second. Bobarb duels have been some of my favorite moments on this stream. I mean, there's been a lot of good, funny moments, right? Like, for, you know, all these streams, all these hours where just dumb shenanigans, like, you know, where we basically just sit here and chat and hang out, and you guys just listen to me rant and ramble for, like, hours and hours. It's like, there's, like, these, you know, like, All Cows Day. You guys remember All Cows Day when I grouped up all those cows and I just bombed them all? It was great. That was glorious. It's that time of the year for DTD2 to get his ritual burr before reset. Oh yeah, that's true. That is actually very true. This is roughly around the right time. See, I mean, see, this has become a meme too, right? Like even something small like this, where you guys know the drill. Find a burr on the last day with my martial arts sin. Find a jaw, like a burr and a jaw on the last day with my with my whirlwind barb, you know, that kind of shit, like, right? Like, there's been so many good, fun, awesome, cool, enjoyable memories I've had playing this game in the last, what, 6 years on stream? Is it 6? When did I start this channel? Was it 2015 or 2016? I think it was 2016. So it's actually been about 6 years, yeah. And yeah, like, straight up, like, despite what I was saying earlier, like, again, I was just vocalizing my thought process. Don't worry, I'm not going to be, like, quitting for good. I will still stream when I can, of course, but that is about as much as I can promise. I can't really go any farther than that. No weekly streams. I'm not going to be the next Tyler 1, unfortunately, so, yeah, sucks to be you if you were, that's, you know, if ever that was something that y'all might have been hoping for. Although, I guess this kind of works both ways, because, in a way, it's kind of nice that I'm not going to be the next Tyler 1, since what that means is I get to spend more time with you guys. Spears on Cow Day, that was such a good time. Yeah, I mean, actually, though, that was a blast. Like, yeah, I'm not sure what more to say than that, right? Like, Spears on Cow Day, or like, martial arts sin, like, you know, you remember when it took us 4 hours to do Ubers? Or, well, for me to try to do Ubers, and you had to step in and help, and, you know, things like that, right? Like, these are things that we remember and might remember for a while. And we just look back on them, those memories, and we laugh, and it's like, oh, it's great, it's awesome. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going way off topic. I'm rambling at this point. Let's take a step back here. So Coaster, yeah. So two things wanted to say. First, like I mentioned before, there are yeah, I mean, eventually you're going to exhaust a lot of builds. But despite that, there are still builds that I want to play, that things that I want to do. What was I playing? Spears on! Yeah, I think it was the Spears on, now that I think about it. I think the season before the Fury Druid, it was Spears on, wasn't it? Because I remember that with the Spears on, I was actually supposed to do 1,000 Kuros temples. And I never even got around to doing something like that. Also, in a lot of these seasons with my weaker builds, I've been running like 1,000 Eldritch to kind of make use of the time where I wanted to farm early game and work for my own items. And I never even got a chance to do that, even though I have like the, you know, I have all these runs saved. Or maybe I actually did post them. I can't even remember anymore. I lose track of what I have saved, what I haven't saved. But anyway, like just some other ideas as to what else, what other things, weird things I would have wanted to do. To be honest with you guys, I would have wanted to do 1,000 like runs of Mephisto. Oh, that was another thing too. I remember now. I was actually supposed to do like 1,000 runs of 1,000 Bale runs. That was another one too. See what drops I get out of Bale, separate that. Like, it's a lot of work, but you know, it would have been really fun to kind of see, or at least for me. Maybe not for you guys. Maybe you guys could care less. But see, those are things that I had lined up that I kind of want to see. For me, it would have been like a really weird, cool data project. And then, of course, like 1,000 runs Mephisto, 1,000 runs Andy. I already did 1,000 runs Duriel. I've already, the thing, killed Diablo 1,000 times. I did it some with quest bug, some with not. Maybe I should do it again at some point with 1,000 quest bug. Well, yeah, just straight up 1,000 quest bug and actually see how good the drops really would be. But that's kind of part of my point. See, like, that's wishful thinking, but the simple reality is, as cool and as fun an idea as that would be, it's probably just not going to happen, since I sure don't have the time for it. Hey, Dino, what's up? No wonder. No, well, okay, yes, that's... Look, have fun. Alright, sounds good. Thanks for stopping by to say hello, at least. Hope you're doing alright, and I'll catch you around soon, hopefully. But... awesome. Alright, well, cheers. So anyway, yeah, going back to it. So yeah, that's basically kind of my thoughts. In terms of builds, Mr. Fart. In terms of builds, there's, yeah, like I have other builds that I can play. The other thing too is Coaster was saying taking a break where you play whatever you want is in order. Okay, so, to tell you the truth, that's sort of where I'm at though. Like when you say taking a break to play what you want. I'm assuming that you're talking about, 1 sec. Let me actually get my barb in here and let me battle orders myself, and then I'll keep talking. If you're talking about like outside of my stream, then yeah, I mean I've been doing other things outside my stream. I just don't have the time to do the streams specifically, even though you guys are lovely people and awesome and fun to hang around. That's exactly my issue here, or that's one of my issues. Wait, did these guys survive? Huh? Damn, these guys are tanky. They have Death's Web, they're still alive. Okay, anyway, sorry, sidetrack there. So, yeah, seriously, yeah, like, when I'm off stream, I already do play what I feel like playing, but starting up the stream is a little different. I had to be in the zone for it, and I also have to, like, allocate, like, X number of hours for it, right? So, like, I'm obviously not going to start a stream if I'm only going to be able to stream for, like, like 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. Or if I could be going at any time. Like, I actually want to get like a proper farming session in, which is why I reserve usually reset weekend, because then I can go ham. Yeah, that's easier for me to do. Set aside some time in my schedule in the long run, but not like go like super ham on it anyway, or like go super ham on it all the time. So yeah, in terms of off stream, I'm already playing what I feel like playing, so there's no worry about that. It's only a question of what's on stream, and the simple reality is when I'm on stream, I already like I want to stream D2 for you guys on this channel, and that's basically it. There's really not any other games that I have available. Oh yeah, I was also supposed to do 1,000 Nephastos at some point too. That was another thing. But anyway, yeah, like when I'm on stream right now, I only really want to stream Diablo 2 because, well, for a few reasons. One being that this is the game I grew this channel on, and it's also a game that just makes sense for me to stream since, well, again, it's like, it's a game that I'm not like a complete shitter in. Like, I have some knowledge about it. I'm not like, I'm obviously not the most knowledgeable person in the world about Diablo 2. I'm not Llama or one of the others, right? Like, I'm not even like a speedrunner. I'm just here to hang out, chill, have fun, but I'm obviously not like so new to the game that like I'm at the right skill level that I can stream this game and be happy that yeah, I'm not like too good or too awful at it, I guess. Because sometimes if you're too good at something, you actually kind of get bored with it, I guess. Not to say that I have a game like that for myself, but I'm just saying like, yeah, Diablo 2 is at the right balance for me personally. But anyway, so that's one issue. The second issue, like I said, I grew the channel on this game, so I kind of want to stick with it. And the third issue is just like there's actually so much potential with Diablo 2. Like, you might think, oh well, you've played Diablo 2 like what, 6? Oh, I'm glad I used my Barb's battle orders there. I'd be dead. But anyway, yeah, you guys might think, oh man, you've done like every season a new character, a new build, and farmed a different area, and of course sooner or later you're gonna get bored of the game. And the simple reality is no. There's a lot, and I still stand by this to this day. Maybe I could be mistaken because I haven't looked. Okay, so here's what I'm getting at here. There's a lot of content to be put out for Diablo 2. I've said that time and time again. I feel like there's a lot of people who, you know, they come onto the scene and they're not really doing anything new or out of the ordinary. They're just recycling the same, you know, washed up, overused, well-known even, I would go and argue, and very well-documented builds. Things like, you know, Blizzsork. Like, seriously, every big YouTuber at this point for D2 has a build on a Blizzsork, and it's kind of obvious why, right? Like, you know, that's just that, like, that's the best example I could come up with here. My point here is that there is a lot of other stuff you could do with this game. You could do single-player playthroughs and talk about the journeys and the struggles of... And would you look at that? I did manage to get an Omer, and that's pretty nice. I was hoping it was a Burr so that I could actually keep up that tradition, but unfortunately it looks like that's not going to be the case. Anyway. Hey Muse, it's good to see you. I'm just doing my rants and rambles as always, so buckle up, grab yourself a cup of coffee and enjoy the show if you plan to hang out. How are you doing, Muse? It's good to see you. Hope everything is going okay with you at this point. Alright, let's go World Stone. I think I already cleared Ancient. No, I didn't clear Ancient's Way. Oh, okay, there you have it. Nice Ohm, yeah, thank you. Much appreciated. Non-ladder, so it's not like anything too crazy. Where was I? I lost my train of thought here. Basically, what I was saying earlier is there's like a lot of things that I could still do in Gull Istit Ohm. This is non-ladder. Oh gosh, I would actually take you up on that. I'm not even kidding. I would actually do it because I don't really have much use for this Ohm. Okay, might as well go Icy Cellar. I keep getting sidetracked here. So yeah, I guess all I'm trying to say here is if I want to make content on this channel, it's not the game that's the problem, because even though I have other games I could stream, like I'm perfectly content with streaming oh shit. Ooh, that could have been bad. Let me just juvie it before I get killed here. That was really dangerous. There's definitely other games I could stream. I just am not really all that. I'm just not really all that interested in streaming other games. Is the simple reality. That's as easily as I can put it. Okay. So yeah. That I think covers things that you guys have said in the chat. So that leads me to my next thing that I was going to talk about here. So yeah, thoughts on the D2R patch? Or sorry, D2R 2.4. I think is what it is. Unless it's 2.5 now, I'm not sure. But anyway. Okay. So to be honest, I have some very mixed feelings about D2R. When I say mixed feelings, I'm not just talking about D2, like I'm not just talking about the patch that they're rolling out, but also about D2R itself, okay? I'm gonna be honest. When I found out that they were gonna, release all these new changes in D2R, I actually was furious. Like, I don't have any other way to put it, right? People keep asking me, oh, what do you think about D2R patch? These look pretty cool, blah, blah, blah. I was furious. I was pretty livid. Like, I freaking looked at it, I was maulding, okay? I'm like, oh, of course, they're going to change a bunch of stuff. They're probably just going to fuck it up. Like, what's the point? Like, this is a game that's been out for so many years. They're going to change a bunch of stuff that's been, like that for a long time. And then, finally, it's just like... Noodle's like, oh my god. Me too, D2D2. Make a 1.14 version, to be honest. Like, why not? Okay, so let me actually get through everything first, because I don't want to make sure. Like, I want to make sure that we're both on the same page here. And I bitched about this to people too. When it first got announced that they were gonna do this, I thought to myself, okay, why? Well, not even why. I know why. Like, I think, Noodles, what you said right there, just now, make a 1.14 version. That is exactly what I was thinking. Like, why not just make a different version that people can play if that's what they want, right? I still, even to this day, think that's how it should be. I think that there should be a Diablo 2 Classic, Diablo 2 LOD, and then a Diablo 2 Resurrected. There should be 3 different ladders, in my honest opinion. That would be the most ideal for me, but I guess they don't want to split their fan base, or it's not really worth them really being all like, oh, let's cater to like the 1% of people who are going to be too upset about these changes, I agree. Why not just have that on a different realm? They should have changed Warden and got rid of Botters instead. Yeah, that also would have been nice. Okay, well, oh, that's why I'm dying. Haha, my bow wore off. Okay, hold on a second. Or accidentally overrode it with my previous one. 1 second. Coaster was saying, trusting someone blind to shoot an apple on someone's head. That's how I feel about the new shit. It's a funny analogy. It is a funny analogy, I'll admit. I don't really know how I'm supposed to interpret it. That one this time, though. I will be honest. And I would appreciate probably a more elaboration on that. But anyway. Ooh, that is scary. These guys are dangerous. So here's the thing, okay? Oh, Istrian too. Hold on a second. Let me just go pick that up. Sweet. So like I said, I was furious. I think this is obvious enough. And I realized that if they were gonna change things, it hurts me to say this, but if I want to be like neutral on the matter, I think it's better for the general audience. When I say general audience, I'm talking about basically people who aren't us. I'm talking about the people who play like Project Diablo 2, Path of Diablo, people who want a breath of fresh air. And if they were going to change stuff, that they sort of took the right approach. Now, I don't necessarily agree with everything they've done, but they buffed the underused stuff and didn't nerf the overused stuff, right? So they didn't take a Cold Sork and nerf it into the ground. They didn't make that mistake, which I think is awesome. They instead opted to take things like, I don't know, Blade Fury, or Spearzon's Dodge, Avoid, and Evade, and Exploding Arrow, and they tweaked it so that from other people who want to use these builds, it's not as difficult to do so, right? Because, I mean, let's be real here, like, every season, I start a new character, and it's like sometimes I just need to straight up start off at Nightmare Eldritch. And imagine if, you know, you weren't locked into farming Nightmare Eldritch because some of these builds are so weak, right? Like, hypothetically, it would be nice to have alternatives to just playing the same 3 builds, or the same, like, 1 or 2 builds on a character any season, and still be able to not feel like complete poo, or to rely on others. That is actually a good charm. So I realize that for other people, these changes are actually pretty good in the general case. Having said that, I thought about it some more, and I realized that I just straight up don't give a shit. Like, whether or not these changes are good, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, either way, I was always going to migrate from D2R back to Slash as my main medium for playing the game anyway, for a lot of different reasons. The community, like, there's the things here, like the armory that D2R doesn't have, right? And, I mean, the community is the, like, #1 for me, like, for biggest reason why I would stay with Slash. But I think the other thing, too, is, I've told you guys this time and time again, okay? Like, I love playing on Slash because it's the game as it was many years ago. And I'm not really interested in relearning a game, I guess. Because if I really want to play a game, and I want to, like, learn a bunch of new shit, like random changes that are made by some arbitrary patch by these people, then I would actually just, like, straight up, if I want to change to the game, I'd go play something else. I'm not even joking. Like legit, Lost Ark looks more tempting to me than D2R right now, and Slash looks more tempting to me than Lost Ark, even without the reset taking place. Like, to be honest with you guys, right? This might seem a little weird, but yeah, that's kind of how I feel. The botters and market turns me off a lot. So I don't really mind the market all that much, to be honest. What I mind... Well, okay, I definitely mind the botters, but okay, I have to accept that, yeah, botters were going to be a thing no matter what. I think one of the things that really turned me off about D2R, though, is that they know that there's a botter problem, and what was their response to it, right? Their response to the botter problem was, oh, let's make it so that let's make it so that there's a queue time to get into a game. So that was back then. I don't know if it's like that now. Somebody can maybe comment on this. I'd like to know. Back then, they had a queue time. That was like effectively what killed the game for me. Like that was the stopping point for when I was like, all right, I'm not gonna grind out nonstop. It was like I played with other people too, and a lot of them stopped playing because of this whole issue with the of the queue times. Really obvious that the devs didn't play D2. If they didn't play D2, I am surprised that they came up with the changes that they did to the classes and left the Cold Sork and the Hammerden and etc. untouched. Yes, exactly. Punishment for the players. That is the point I want to make here. Their response for botters was to effectively punish all players. Not just the botters, but also your average Joe. And like, what is an extra 30 seconds of getting back into another game going to do, right? How does that really solve the problem? It straight up doesn't, guys. Like, who the fuck came up with this? Shit makes no sense. Seriously. It makes no sense. Like, how does this benefit anyone in any way? If you're a dude who's running a bot, you're just gonna, set your timer to like 31 seconds if there's a 30-second delay in between games. Ooh, ouch. You slowed down the bots. Good job. You know who else was also affected by 30-second games? Real players who were doing 30-second runs legitimately, right? Damn, go figure. What a big surprise. So, anyway, without getting too deeply into that, because did it change the place where you normally stream? Is that a new microphone? Yeah. I did actually change the place I normally stream. Baldies, yes. So many changes, but doesn't make any new builds competitive versus Sork or Hden. So, again, like, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if there's an easy way for them to make anything competitive with a Sork. Like, just off the fact that they have teleport. Like, obviously, yeah, I'm when I play Singer Barb, it's fine, but that's a very unique and odd playstyle. For most of the other classes out there, most of the other builds, all the buffs that they did, still, I don't quite know if anyone's going to be, like, rushing to make a Spearzon to compete with a Sork, obviously. But having said that, I don't really care much for that because, again, I don't... This is going to sound a bit ridiculous, and not all of you guys are going to agree with me on this, but part of what makes D2, or part of what makes Diablo 2 the game that it is that, yeah, like, you have to accept it for all of its strengths and all of its flaws as well, if you even want to call them flaws. Like, yeah, Sork is stupid strong. Hammerden is stupid strong. You know this, and yeah, you could say, oh, well, they should be nerfed, but I think that it's better that people leave it the way it is, because there's a lot of people who know Sork as being really strong from the vanilla game. They know Hammerden as being really strong in the original game. And those are just things that they simply should not try and adjust, because then at that point they're, I guess, kind of making it, well... if somebody wants to like be overpowered and crush everything with a Sork the way they did 20 years ago, then who's to stop them, right? But at the same time, no one's really going to complain if you, for example, make a summoning druid actually able to summon all of their summons, right? Which is what I think they were going to do, and straight up, I'm kind of glad, because previously they were like, oh, we're going to buff like these specific things on the summoning druid. No, dude, seriously. All you need to do is make it so you can summon all of your druid shit and you're good. And that's what they did. So now somebody can play a summoning druid, and it doesn't really affect all the people who want to start off with a Sork or who want to start off as a Hammerden. So in a way, I think that the changes that they made for like any average Joe who wants to play D2R are fine, like whatever. Anyway. I don't think the queues were about botters. I think they actually fucked up the server-side config, but it was obviously foreseeable. Well, okay, if they fucked up the server-side config, then why wasn't it something that was fixed, like, right away, right? Like, I don't know, man. This is some... And then they even later added oh, well, here we go. Here's a timer for how long it'll take you to join a new game. That, for me, ruins the immersion of the game, believe it or not. Part of why BNet was infamous, like the original BNet was so infamous, is because of the mighty Realm Down, or what was it called? Not connection is interrupted. Failed to join FTJ. There you go. Failed to join game. You guys remember that? You go into a game, it's like, oh, failed to join, failed to join, failed to join. That shit was annoying. Like, oh my goodness, failed to join again, you guys. Like, no one wanted to deal with that. No one wanted to deal with that. You know what I was saying? I'm saying they don't even know about Realm Down. Okay, so you know what? Honestly, that's a good point. I admit that from a gameplay standpoint, some of the adjustments they've made, maybe it's very possible that they got, you know, people like Llama to kind of chime in and give input, because they would know that, yeah, if I were playing a summoning druid, the one change I would want is that, like I'm speaking for myself here, is that, yeah, I would want all my summons to be summonable, because it's a fucking summoning druid. Why can't I summon all my summons, right? Anyway, you're right, though. It's kind of weird that they were all like, oh yeah, like, let's add a Realm Down, or well, basically an FTJ timer, like with the original BNet, when that was one of the points which people hated about the original BNet, right? Like, no one was happy about Realm Downs. Nobody. Like, yeah, like that's one of the reasons, that was one of the selling points that I had for Slash. You guys remember the past where I'd be all like, oh, hey guys, like I'd be streaming on the Diablo 2 category, and it's like, oh, yo, are you playing D2 with Mappack right now on BNet? I'm like, no, I'm playing on Slashdiablo where Mappack is permitted. But one of the selling points that I would always say is, oh yeah, you don't have to do a Realm Down. And some people would actually be like, oh shit, yo, I'm sold, I'm gonna join in, right? Anyway, so, yeah, that's another thing I was going to talk about, but let me take a step back and make sure I didn't miss any messages here. Coaster was saying the chances that they will hit the mark is abysmal. Might happen, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Yeah, like you're kind of like not very optimistic that they're going to make their mark on what changes need to be made about each character, which makes sense, right? Like, to be honest, I haven't really looked at all of the patch notes. I will say that the rune words were highly, like, I'll be honest, they were underwhelming. There's really nothing about these rune words that are exciting. I don't know how else to put it. Like oh wow, you know, I think the only really interesting rune word that I saw was like Unbending Will or whatever it's called, with the +6 all skills, 45 or 55 FCR, was it? But like, straight up, I'm just like, it's just more plus to all skills. Like, okay, cool, your damage goes up by a little bit, but it's not really anything that I look at and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I think for me, what the biggest disappointment was that they didn't actually add as many like low-level rune words, which is really where we needed more rune words, in my opinion. Like, because yeah, in the end game, there's already like, well, I mean, I guess there's a few options depending on what build you're going to play, but in the early game, you know, you're kind of limited on what you can make, I guess. I don't know if I'm making sense here. But anyway, so yeah, I am with you on that though, Coaster, if you're still around, that yeah, I'm not really sure how accurate they're going to be at making a patch that is just good for all of the builds involved. Frankly, I don't care though. I straight up don't care, because again, the whole reason why I got D2R was because I wanted to play this is what I was expecting to get, the original D2 with like a ladder and better graphics and a bit of quality of life changes, like shared stash tabs and like auto gold pickup. Like, I could care less for those. Like, okay, fine, right? But if they're gonna do stuff like, you know, roll out a bunch of changes for these characters, then frankly, it's, you know, it's not really the game that I signed up to play. And even, again, it doesn't, these changes, like, I don't care much for them anyway, because like I said, I was always going to play or switch back over to Slash as my main medium for playing. So really, I realize a good thing that they're rolling out these patches for all the people who actually intend to play D2R a lot. Whereas somebody like me, I probably wouldn't have played that much, even if they left the game alone entirely. Like, I was going to play one ladder and just ditch anyway. So, At the end of the day, nothing. These changes, no matter what they do, aren't really going to affect the game or the situation for me. I don't know if. Well, yeah, that should make sense. Anyway, Noodles is saying they already fucking with heaps of shit. But like, why not just do both? I'm all for new shit, but this was sold as a remaster. Yeah, yeah, exactly, right? Like this was sold as a remaster. Like, I don't know why they're now adding a bunch of stuff. Like, I really wish there was the option to not have these changes if we didn't want them. D2R's whole sales pitch was that it would be the same as old with modern graphics and features. Yes. Yeah, so you guys are completely right, of course. Hom was saying if you're doing 30 seconds runs too legit, you're just too good at the game in Blizzard's view. Oh, yeah, I mean, clearly, I guess. Damn, imagine running Pendle in under 30 seconds. Like, yo. Some of the new rune words are pretty stupid. I agree. I straight up looked at a lot of the rune words. I'm like, why do I care? And some of the other rune words, I think there was one which gives like +3 fire. I'm like, okay, cool. Wow, you basically, this is now a new option for fire builds. You have a +1, or a +1 over existing options, I guess. Like +1 fire skills over like Shaco and whatnot, but like, there's really nothing like exciting about it, I guess. I don't know, man. FaZe was saying, or yeah, people were saying, good thing that RWs are underwhelming. The previous whelming RWs created the problems that we've been discussing for years. Yes, and I thought about this. I was actually chilling a couple weeks ago, just like I was just sitting, and it was kind of like those, you know, shower thoughts. You know, it just occurred to me. I'm like, huh. Part of the reason why the rune words are so like. Part of the reason why I don't care for these rune words. Oh well, actually no. Let me take a step back even further. Spirit dominates the early game category for casters, and they still didn't come up with an alternative to that. That was like probably the main. Ooh, hold on a sec. Yeah, probably Spirit was one of the rune words, which is, like, for lack of better words, it's one of the most problematic rune words. Like, most caster builds early game are, of course, going to want Spirit. Hell, you might even want 2 Spirits, right? So I'm like, what are you going to do to, like, if you're going to have, like, an early game... Well, if you were going to have rune words, you should have one for early game, but if you were going to have an early game rune word, it would need to compete with Spirit. I guess what I'm getting at here is just, straight up, I don't really... They added a bunch of new rune words that people can tinker around with, but again, I don't really know if that's going to change, if that's really going to have any impact, you know? They could have revamped some of the mid-tier or even end-tier sets. This Disciple could have used some love. So they made it so that, like, set items can be upgraded. I think that's actually kind of a cool thing that they're adjusting. Again, like if I had the choice, I'd keep things exactly the same way it was before because that's how I am. But I mean, yeah, like you know, how silly is it that you get an angelic set and then after like it's so difficult to make, and then by the time you make it to level 50, it's basically worthless compared to all the other options that you have available to you, right? I remember I had my martial arts sin. I had angelic mantle, and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, if this were like a not a bone weave. What's the upgraded diamond mail? Yeah, if I could like upgrade ring mail all the way to diamond mail, then I'd have a lot of defense, and I'd actually use angelics because it gives a lot of attack rating, right? Like, and some pretty decent stats. But straight up, it was kind of doggo. That's one of the reasons I never used it. Anyway, instead they just revamped the already useful sets. Did they revamp sets? I thought that they just allowed it so you can upgrade sets. Anyway, I don't even know. See, that's the thing. I didn't even look at all the changes. Did I want to look at all the changes? Not really. Like, yeah, like I skimmed through them and I'm just like, okay, cool, great. They're making these changes. That's amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I like the idea of Spearzons using Insight/Infinity. Go play PD2 then. So, see, like, that's another thing, too. Making it so that, like, I've talked about this before. I don't know why Spear, like, Infinity is only... You can only make it in, like, whatever the frick it's called. You can only make it into a polearm, but you were never able to make it into a Spear. So, you're never able to run, like, an Infinity Lightning... what was it? Strike Spearzon? Anyway. Is what I meant about the sets. They changed a few things about them, but not on the useless ones. Oh, yeah, that's. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a few sets that are just straight up never used ever, and they didn't do anything about them. I remember looking at that, and I'm like, oh, that's it. But I don't remember off the top of my head like what changes were made. Anyway, um, I'm addressing all of what you guys are talking about and kind of sharing some thoughts. Like, it's kind of unusual for me to be like not really like fully, I guess, like trashing the changes that they've made. But honestly, I look at these changes, I'm like, they're not like awful changes. I don't think. I just don't think that the changes are whelming. There you go. The changes are like legitimately whelming. There's like nothing about them that I look at and I'm like, wow, that is huge. Like maybe it's just me. I'll admit that maybe part of it is just me. Yeah. I will say this though, like for all of the good changes that they've made, I stand by what you guys are talking about. Now I don't know if LeBron is still around, but one of the things that he said very much resonates with me. I've said this time and time again. The thing that I really wish they had done the most, okay? They should have made it so that you could... No, okay. You know what? No. I got something better. There was a very wasted opportunity with this D2R, in my honest opinion. You're lurking? Okay, cool. There was a very wasted opportunity with D2R. I thought about this and I talked about it with people. Not on stream, but off stream. And this was like about 2 weeks ago, and I'm like thinking about it. When the game first came out, it was September, right? There were so many people who like returned back to the game. It was hyped. Like there was lots of people like playing it, and it was like for a while it was like one of the top watched categories on Twitch, and a lot of people were kind of excited for it. And then what happened? They should have didn't do shit with the game for how many months has it been, you guys? October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months. 6 months. Okay, 6 months they haven't done jack shit all with the game. Okay, cool, great. They're running patch 2.4, 2.5, whatever. But in the last 3 months, they're so-called stability patches. Like, okay, look, I get it. You're working on stability patches. You want everything to be stable. But you know what else could have been really good? If you could have actually just instead of actually like rolling out a bunch of changes and patches, why didn't you actually do a real ladder with the vanilla game first before you roll out all of the stuff that you want to in 2.4? This makes no sense to me. This is, I think, the single biggest complaint I have. Well, actually, no, it's the second biggest complaint. The first one being, why don't they just make it so that there's like classic LOD and resurrected ladders? But anyway, straight up, why didn't they make it so that, they had a ladder like around, let's say like December or January, right? Like legit, it would have been really cool to get one nice little nostalgia trip in with all of the original games changes, or original games gameplay, except for the weird attack speed issue on melee characters. And then they can roll out 2.5 as a nice change of pace and a nice breath of fresh air from the vanilla game. I don't know. That just blows my mind that they didn't do that. Actually, I think that's for me one of the biggest problems. Sorry, what's Coaster saying here? Post wisdom, teeth, and removal nutrition is certainly very challenging. About that, can't you eat like softer stuff like porridge or like congee, or like really soft foods? Like, I've heard a lot of people, well, yeah, I don't know. I read somewhere once that it was like, I think congee and porridge were like, it's the first day. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe somebody else can chime in on that. But yeah, that's the thing I wanted to bitch about the most, okay? Because if we're talking about D2R, if we're talking about the D2R and the patch, like, this is why I was saying, like, if we're talking about thoughts on D2R, I have very mixed feelings about D2R, because, like, for a lot of reasons. One of the big ones is that, yeah, like, they kind of fucked up. Like, they had a really missed opportunity to, bring the game, to a wider audience, I guess. Or not bring the game to a wider audience, but keep it fresh by having like an actual proper ladder, and then they could have hyped people up with the changes that were made in the next ladder. Especially because, I mean, they keep talking about, oh, stability changes, stability changes, stability changes. What fucking stability changes do you need, dude? What stability changes do you need? Like, is the game still crashing nonstop? I mean, evidently not. Just roll out the ladder, and then you can deal with the stability issues after. Like, I don't know. Gonna go lay down, take it easy, folks. Gotta be full strength for tomorrow. Okay, sounds good, Coaster. Looking forward to seeing you there. Try not to oversleep. Thanks again for hanging out, Co. Appreciate it. You have yourself a good night, and I'll see you. Normally I say next time, but hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Got 2 wisdom teeth pulled last year. Things improved a lot when I started icing my gums as much as I could bear. Oh, I see. Luxury bones. Oh, hey, by the way, Muse, I didn't get a chance to see you, or to greet you properly. You were saying, what up, ya twat? And, hey, man, it's good to see you. Nothing much. I'm just, doing some runs with, you know, El Clasico over here, because it's, well, you know, I just want to have some fun with this character. I haven't used him in a while. And it's also a relatively easy character to play while I talk with you guys, and I get my thoughts across, too. So, you know, it's a good build to play if I'm going to chat with you guys while I do this, and just to unwind and not really put too much thought into what I'm doing, you know? There we go. Oh, cool. 2 XP shrines. That would have been really nice. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my rant, though. I don't really know if I have much else to say. I guess to really sum up kind of my stance on the matter, I was angry at first. I realized, though, that I wasn't really going to play the game anyway that much. So I kind of made peace with the direction that they're taking the game. And then I also acknowledged that if they're going to make changes to the core gameplay and the balancing, then at least they're going to buff things or focus on buffing things rather than nerfing things. I think that's good. Yeah, I think for me though, just kind of like well, that's basically my stance. I know you guys have other stances. Oh, and then of course, yeah, like an option to toggle the ladder as being classic, expansion, or resurrected would have been great. What would have been an even better, well, actually, that would have been the best case scenario, but what also would have been good secondary to that is if they had one real ladder with, you know, the original game's gameplay, and then they roll out the changes later. I really have to emphasize this. When the thought occurred to me, because I haven't really touched D2R in a while, so I didn't really give it much thought, but when it hit me like a truck. I'm like, dude, like, it's been 6 months, like, you know, it took longer for them to roll out, to even discuss the ladder season than it did for me to actually stream between one season to the next on Slash. You know, how ridiculous is that? Still sitting in there not causing problems, is it? Is super start causing anything negative in fact? I see. Super erupt. Anyway, okay, that's clear. Go next area. Yeah, and I'm just mindlessly farming, going wherever I feel like, and just generally chilling, I guess. Alright, and that takes me to the last thing, I guess, that I should really talk about when it comes to D2R. I don't know how many of you guys have already asked about this. I don't know if any of you guys actually asked about this, but when the D2R ladder actually happens, whenever that'll be, I'm still planning to go ham for Enigma. That's my plan, right? And of course, I'm going to be doing it with my Singer Barb, my buffed Singer Barb, because again, they felt like, oh yeah, well Singer Barb doesn't do that much damage, so we're gonna actually make it a little bit stronger. I was like, all right, well fine, sure. And then they're also gonna adjust Grim Ward on a Barb too. So again, these are things which I'm going to take part in, and but I'm not really gonna spend too much time on it. I'm not gonna like go super ham, you know. Does Korea still play? I don't know, dude. I have no clue if he still plays, and frankly, I could really care less, I guess. Like, you know. Yeah, at this point, I'm just doing my own thing, trying to have my own fun with the game, and that's basically that. Okay, yeah, so when D2R ladder happens, I'm going to probably be going ham just to get Enigma, and then after that happens, I'm not going to be touching the game very much after. This is kind of what I'm thinking. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. Ironic that they buff Warcry when it was already the main skill that speedrunners used to set the Barb records. Yeah, I mean, not sure what to tell you on that. Also, why did they need to make Grimward amplify damage or physical damage? That for me is a little strange. Like, I get that they wanted to make Grimward useful, but like seriously? Like, alright, I mean, I guess it also gives room for a bit of build diversity too, because some people can then splash for a Grimward or whatever. I don't really know, I don't really care because, well actually I might care because my Warcry bar, I might need to adjust it, but still, I guess for me I'm just like, okay, well, what fucking ever, dude. Yeah, so I've basically talked about everything I wanted to. I'm probably just going to do a bit more farming for the next half hour or so, and then I'm going to call it there. And I'm going to try to rest up early because, you know, as you guys all know, we have a very insane event happening tomorrow, and we have to be in top physical condition for it. So I'm going to actually get some rest early for a change, and then hopefully get up late, and then, you know, we can actually get the show on the road. I hope you guys enjoy the build that I have for this upcoming season, because I haven't really thought out what I want to play yet. Or I've thought it out, but I haven't made a final decision. There is one other thing I'm going to say, Muse. Are you wanting to play this season at all? Because I have a post on the subreddit, like for the last minute heroes, but I don't know if you saw it. If you're not taking part, no pressure, no worries. I think that there is quite a roster of people who are more than willing to join in. We have 4 so far, and there are a lot of people who are all like, oh, yo, I'm ready to fill in if need be. I just saw your thread and hopped onto the stream. Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's good. Good timing then. Okay. Let me see if I can find... There we go. What are you going to be playing, Muse? Make sure to post it in the chat there. And then I need to take 3 people, I think. Like, I also did this... Here's the thing. I did this stream also to try to summon the remaining people who haven't been around, particularly you, funny enough, Muse, and also Sethash, which is purple, or green cable on this channel. But yeah, I got a hold of pretty much everybody else. Insidies can't make it, Good Grief can't make it, Enjoy, well, Enjoy probably can't make it. He said I'll see, but I'll take that as a, I'll basically just put that down as a no. Marlies is in, thankfully, and Ayla Mao is in, but no one else replied. It was just Co, Marlies, and Ayla Mao, and apparently now you, Muse. Yeah. Yeah. Female wizard. Okay, cool. So you're going to play a wizardess. Gotcha. Anyway, I don't know. The Warcry Barb's kind of, like, the Warcry Barb buff is kind of interesting too, Fever, because, like, you know, as you know, I was playing Singer Barb last season, and I was, you know, richer in terms of runes than a lot of other people who were playing Sork. by just doing, farm, like playing to its strengths, running Trav, and abusing Fine Item, and also running places like Neolithak for D keys because other builds could not do it. So now, I don't quite know if. I mean, I don't. They're basically buffing up the Warcry barb. I'm kind of curious to see what my Warcry, like my strat, which I was gonna use even if they didn't buff my Warcry barb, what that'll look like. So that'll be interesting. Hmm. Yeah, that's basically everything that I think I wanted to talk about, though. I realized, like, turning Singer into a top-tier meta build would be good for the game overall. More bars for groups evens out the class population some. On one hand, yeah, it sort of does. On the other hand, I kind of like that it's low-key, because um, part of... Well, I feel like barbs are in higher demand because of it, you know? Like if you're playing a barb, everyone wants you into their party, which means that the very few people who are willing to play a barb are going to be more, sought after. But now if everyone's playing barb, then well, it's maybe a bit more difficult for you to meet up with other people then. Singer, 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 singer. Uh, Also, Sork teleport and Blizz is hard to beat, so I don't know if that's really going to like. I don't know if that's really going to tip people over to switching over to Barb. I don't think that's going to happen, frankly. And one other thing I'm going to point out is that for me personally, I kind of liked that Barb was one of the lesser played classes because all that meant was that all of my Barb equipment was stupid cheap. Like imagine that. I'm basically just spamming D keys or spamming Neolithak runs until I get 5 D keys, and then I trade it in for a B torch, and then for all of like the Warcry skillers, it's a pull rune each. Like, what other you try to do that for Javazon, you try to do that for Hammerdin, you try to do that for Blue Sword, that's not going to happen. But for Singer Barb, no one fucking plays Singer Barb, at least not right now. So if more people migrate over to Singer Barb, maybe there's going to be more demand for those Warcry skillers, and thus it might be a little bit more difficult to come by those. So, at the end of the day, yeah, I guess it probably would be good for the game overall, but at the same time too, I don't think it's going to be top tier, and I kind of like some of the advantages of not everyone using them at the moment. So that's what I can say about that. All right. Let's keep going here. I'm going to take my leave pretty tired tonight. That's okay. I'm going to be only on for another maybe like half hour or so at the most, and then I'm probably going to hop off and call it an evening. See you tomorrow. Yeah, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it, that'll basically be our pseudo date because you're actually going on your real date on Saturday. So exciting stuff. You have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by to say hello. I mean, you had a kid without me. Well, you know what? There's this thing, okay? It's called polygamy, right? We could always, if you're up for it. D2 Junior, don't worry. I won't raise him to become a streamer like me. It's a one-time deal for you silly geese. All you get is the D2 Senior. Anyway, what else did I want to say here? Well, I actually don't have that much more to really talk about. I'm probably just going to do a couple runs with my Fury Druid and then show you guys kind of like where my Fury Druid is at to wrap up the season. Then after that, I kind of wanted to talk about builds that we've done up until this point and what builds I was planning to do. That was the last thing that I wanted to talk about because, yeah, like, you know, you guys have been so awesome hanging out and just chatting, and it's been a really good conversation, I'd say, overall, where I got a chance to kind of catch up with a few of you guys and also kind of talk about my thoughts on D2R, which is kind of a big thing for a lot of D2 fanatics, not so much for me, surprisingly. There is one other thing I should point out. My interest in the game kind of waned, I realized, after D2R. Believe it or not. Like, yeah, true, I wasn't really streaming as much before D2R came out because I had other things I needed to take care of anyway, but now that D2R is out and everyone's like, oh, D2R, 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 I'm just like, honestly, I feel a lot less interested in the game than I used to be. And that's something that I realized a while back and that I kind of sort of have to make peace with, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, man. So, yeah, what else haven't I farmed? I could, yeah, I'll do far away set them out. Here's a thing about the game creation time limit issue. Okay, by the way, is the time limit issue still a thing? Because that shit was like, that was such a snooze fest. It really was. Like, it might not be such a big deal for some of you guys, but it was for me. Because yes, my runs do sometimes take less than 30 seconds. I'm playing my, well, it was at the time a minute. I was playing Singer Barb, so every time it's like, oh shit, alright, guess I gotta wait. Or I think there was like a delay in between times you could join a game. Oh, actually no, that was the worst part. It wasn't really the runs themselves, but rather if you had to like switch between characters, or if you had to mule, or if you had to rejoin a game for some reason, or if you're like trying to, you know, there's a lot of reasons, but you get the idea. Oh, and you'll also notice that I didn't set on music on the stream today. That was intentional. Normally I would. I'm probably going to have music tomorrow as per the usual, or maybe... No, I'm probably not going to have music. Well, should I? I'll think about that. But I chose not to have it on because I just wanted to talk to you guys for once and just give my honest thoughts about a few of these different topics. Well, basically D2R. D3 added the idea of a stacking MF that you got each time you kill a champ. The devs wanted to make it more optimal to spend time in a game. That is the direction to go to avoid the game creation limit problem. Okay, so fair enough, although granted you'd have to change the core game for that. I really do think that the game creation limit problem should, like, it shouldn't even really be a problem. It just should not be, like straight up, there just shouldn't be a game creation limit. Plain and simple. Full stop. There's no reason for there to be a game creation limit, whatever, like, you know, right? It just should not be a thing. I cannot emphasize that enough. There's no good reason from a player's perspective to have that limitation. That's like... Those limits are like... Diablo, or sorry, like OG Diablo 2, like BNet days, you know? Just blows my mind that that's still a thing even now. Creation limit itself isn't the design of, creation limit itself isn't the problem. The design of Pindle is the problem. I see. And you would say the same about Trav, I would imagine. And also, not just keep in mind too, not just farming bosses, but also like if you're trying to switch between characters or switch between games really quickly, that might not be a problem for you. But you know, if you're trying to like go back and forth between games for any reason, which I had to because I did have multiple characters, including mules or you know just characters I could play, then yeah, I should be able to go back and forth between characters and games and not be penalized for it. And I had other people who encountered the same problem too. And it wasn't very subtle either. It wasn't like, oh, you had to wait 10 seconds. It would be like, okay, I want to wait 10 seconds, or if I wait 10 seconds and then join a game, it's okay. But if I wait 5 seconds and then join a game, right? If I wait 5 seconds and then try to join a game, it'll be like, oh, sorry, you can't join that game. Please try again. and then you'll try again. Well, and then it'll actually reset the timer, and you try to join a game again, and it'll be like, sorry, you can't join a game. You gotta wait out the timer. Please try again. And then this process repeats. That was probably the most frustrating thing. It really was failed to join 2.0. Dare I say it was even worse than BNet though? Yeah, it was worse than BNet because, or like the original BNet, because I think the original BNet wasn't even that bad. Well, actually, no, because the original BNet had eventually you'd go realm down, so I guess that was worse. But still, it's awful. Like this is a game from 2020, like or 2021. How 20 years later have you not fixed the problem? It's been in the game for 20 years. The shorter each run is, the less variation in movement, the easier it is for bots. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're basically saying if they had made the game a bit more complex to be optimal, then it would be tougher for bots, I guess. Made it more rewarding to farm longer in one game. There would be no need for a limit. So switching just between characters that don't leave town is fine to allow. I see. Mr. J was saying, so this is not D2R. Does this look like D2R to you? Although I guess D2R has that stupid legacy mode, whatever that is. No, this is original Diablo 2, Mr. J. This is good old Lord of Destruction. I'm still playing the vanilla game. I actually do own Diablo 2 Resurrected. I have a character who basically has the funds for an Enigma, but I still prefer playing the original game. I prefer playing OG Diablo 2, and I enjoy playing it on this private server called Slashdiablo, because then I can actually play with a very tight-knit group of people. A really cool, chill, fun community. I mean, they're not perfect. Like, there's going to be people here and there that you'll encounter that will really grind your gears, and trading might be a bit difficult at times, especially early ladder, but more... I personally enjoy this a lot more than playing on D2R, where everybody's sort of a stranger. Yeah, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of other problems too with D2R that why I haven't really been too invested into D2R, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah. Are you playing D2R, Mr. J? I see. All right. Glad that settles it. Yeah. Are you playing D2R right now? I'm guessing you are. I mean, I specifically made sure to set the game category on both YouTube and Twitch as Diablo 2, not Diablo 2 Resurrected, because yeah, like I'm not playing Diablo 2 Resurrected, I'm playing Diablo 2, and believe it or not, there is a somewhat slight difference there. Yeah. Hi. Ethereal Boneweave 3 sockets? Wow. Yeah. Anyway, I think one of the other things to consider too, I don't know how many people are going to be playing next season. From my understanding, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, especially LeBron, and I don't think LeBar's around anymore, but ever since Diablo 2 Resurrected has come out, well, no, sorry, even before that, when PD2 came out, because apparently it was the new big hot thing, like there were a lot of people who were on it, non-stop playing D2R, or sorry, PD2, and then a lot of people migrated out from Slash, and then afterwards D2R came out, and I think we had a ladder reset, and it wasn't nearly as many people. I'm actually legit curious to see how many people are going to be taking part in this upcoming ladder reset. Because, yeah, we're at the point now where the novelty factor of D2R has sort of worn off. So I don't know if now, like, people have moved on to D2R for good and are no longer looking for private servers to play. Like, previously, when D2R wasn't an option, it was only just D2. Like, people were only able to play the original D2 on BNet, and that's why they seeked out private servers. But now it's like like a lot of people, even though there's like more people playing now than there were before, also like overall. I don't know it. What the hell? Okay, there we go. That was weird. They're like no monsters for miles. I don't know if now there's going to be more people who start. I don't know how many people there are going to be on Slash this season. Is I guess what I'm getting at. I'm going to guess probably like 250. Probably roughly the same as last season, but who knows? I'm actually not sure. D2R 2.4 is going to push away people that want to play the original game like to Slash. See, that's the thing. It will. But I don't really know how many people on Slash care so much for, oh, it's the original game. Like, I guess some people would, because, like, yeah, like in my case, part of the reason why I joined Slash in the first place was because, yeah, it's like as close to the original as possible. But I don't know, I wouldn't dare to think that that would be a majority. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, like, especially given how many people switched back over to like PD2. Or switched over to PD2 when that first came out. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm actually legit curious to see what it's going to be like, I guess. Mr. J was saying, no, I did, but it was too boring in the long run, just doing the same bosses slash mob slash farm days after days. Yeah, no, I respect that, and no one really is doing PvP. That also is surprising. That there's not as many people doing PvP in D2R, although I guess maybe not. I mean, if even Slash is any indicator, there's a vast majority of us who would rather just play PvM, just hang, chill out with friends, and not really delve very much into the PvP side. And more than that, I don't even think that they've balanced out PvP very well on D2R either, from my understanding. Yeah, my condolences, though, that you weren't able to find anybody who's doing PvP. That sucks. I know that there are some people who very much live for that on Diablo 2, but these days, no, that's not the case. Meanwhile, me, I'm not really much of a PvP kind of person. If I were to play PvP, if I wanted to really play PvP and commit hard to it, then I'd actually play... Honestly, yeah, like, I'd actually probably play a MOBA, or, like, something else which is more PvP-oriented, or, like... I mean, even like a shooter or something like Rainbow Six Siege or something. I don't know. There's a lot of games out there that I think I'd rather play PvP. So that's just me personally, though. So I can't quite say that I share the same struggle. I will, however, say though that on Slash, there have been attempts to kind of get like a PvP tournament going, and it's from what I've seen, it's been pretty successful. Not like successful in the sense that we're pulling like hundreds or even like dozens of people in, but usually you can get like a tournament going. Yeah, you can honestly get, like, I've seen quite a few, like, I've seen some tournaments go, and it's been, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting, kind of seeing people hop in on that and just having fun, so. I don't know. I wonder if I'm sure that there's PvP in communities for D2R, though. There has to be. I can't imagine that people are gonna, like, straight up have D2R and then just not have, like, not have communities for dueling, or having, like, I remember in the original game, if you wanted to go duel somebody, there would be a game up called Duel, or Duels, or Duel with a Z, right? That was like in OG D2 days, LOD. But yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna call it from now on. D2 Classic, D2 LOD, and D2R. I think that's the best divvy, because I'm calling it OG D2, but I think that's not very specific, all things considered. Anyway, guys, I'm probably going to go for another 10 minutes. I've been having a lot of fun just mindlessly hitting these mobs, and, you know, it's nice to whip out the old Poison Necro every once in a while and just see things, but it seems very apparent to me that I will not be getting a lucky Burr rune today like I did last time. Well, you know, in the past, when, you know, it's like the last day before I moving to the next season, and I just find a magical Burr. I did find an Ohm rune though, so oh my goodness. I take it Slash is still, Sork is still the best character to make when ladder is fresh due to teleport. Okay, so Mr. J, it depends what your goal is. Okay, I'm a little bit like, the vast majority of people will say that yeah, Sork is the best character to start off a ladder with. But I honestly believe that like it really depends on your goal. Yeah, it really depends on your goal. Like in my case, on D2R, my goal was to get high runes. And to also run Neelithak a little bit. And for me, the Barb was the best character for that. But obviously... Okay, interesting. But obviously, like... Yeah, if your goal is just to do, like, generic farming, then yeah, you're probably best off with a Sork. But I do have to ask, what exactly is your goal, Mr. J? It might seem like an odd question. Like, most people are just like, oh yeah, I just want to get rich quick. But straight up, here's the thing, right? Like, I have to actually bring this up to you so you can actually think about this. Think about how all these so-called like crazy Sorks who are like super rich, they have all of the items they could possibly want, like duplicates upon duplicates of uniques and set items. How many of those items do they actually use, right? Like how many items, how many of those items can they actually sell, eh? If they find something like a Bartux, their 4th or 5th Bartux, and it's perfect, and still no one will buy it because not as many people are playing like Trapsin. Same thing applies to like even Zon items are obviously cheaper than what Sork items than Sork items, right? So it's kind of like, again, I'm not trying to dodge around your question, but I guess if you just want a simple yes or no, yeah, Sork is still going to be probably the most popular. Generally agreed upon to be the the best starting class overall, but I would like just off the fact they have teleport even helps a lot. But I would even challenge that and say that if you have other things that you want to do, then there are certainly better alternatives, better available options. Has anyone else's YouTube feed filled with softcorn prawn? No, no. No. Binging Sopranos clips and Ukraine videos recently, don't know what's giving me that. I don't know. I wish I could tell you, but I straight up have no clue. Oh, what could be doing that? Okay, well, almost done with Act 3. I'm basically going to end when I make it to Trav. Oh, Battle Wars expired. My feed is almost always ASMR vids since that's 95% of my watch time. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay, interesting. So, what the hell? Die already. Mr. J was saying my goal would be to be able to farm most places for high-end gear / runes, like farm Diablo pits or whatever. It would be online, not single player though. Okay, that's a good starting point. If you ask me, if you're looking for a character who can farm most places for high-end gear / runes, my recommendation would actually be either the Hammerdin or the Javazon. Well, okay, not factoring in the any of the buffed characters. Maybe one of them is like low-key overpowered. Like maybe Summoning Druid is now going to be meta. I don't know. Like one character I can farm all my keys. 80% of all high-end zones and so on. Okay. Okay, well that's easy then. Yeah. I got one for you. Trapsin. Now here's the thing. And you should try this before you take the word of like a random person you've met online here. But here's the thing about Trapsin. Or like when you say farm most places, you didn't say like farming optimally. I'm gonna point that out because it's kind of like I would say that if you played like If you played, for example, a Javazon, you could farm cows like quicker than you could farm cows quicker than like I don't know, some Sork, right? But if you try to go other places, she would probably suffer a bit more. Like she has a tougher time trying to run chaos because of all the ghosts that are lightning immune. Same thing goes for pits if you come across lightning immune archers, that kind of stuff. So that's something you need to consider as well. But if you want one character who can farm keys, who can do Diablo, who can do pits, um, actually, you know what? I believe if your goal is to farm the most places for all those areas that you've just listed, it would have to be either Hammerden or Druid. Well, like if I want to kill Meph, but I have to spend 20 minutes getting there is like, oh no, if that makes sense. Okay, so take Zon off the table then, because yeah, moving, like running bosses, like killing bosses is easy, but mobility is a genuine problem on a Zon, since you kind of have to run it. I guess Druid too. If that's the case, I would actually recommend either Sork for teleport, or if you want an option that's not just Sork, then in this case I would say Hammerden. Like if I'm being honest here, because with a Hammerden you can farm pretty much any area except for Maggot Lair. Yeah, like you can run bosses. You can run, like seriously, you can run any boss. You can run pretty much any level 85 area in the game. Just straight up. You can obviously do pits. You can definitely do chaos. You can. Oh, you might have a bit of trouble with AT though. But I don't know if you care about that. Like, oh yeah, one or two place level 85 areas you can't do. And of course, they're rolling out a new patch in D2R where they're making a bunch of other areas level 85 areas as well. So I don't even think you're going to have that problem with the Hammerden if you don't mind not really being able to handle AT where there's magic immunes, which would slow you down. I don't know. It's kind of a hard question to answer because I'm sort of like this is my thinking, right? I would say, in your case, Hammerden is like the very obvious one. Uh, because it has the mobility, it has the damage to clear just about any area without too much difficulty. It has, I mean, it has vigor and it has what's the other thing called? Charge. So even if you don't get a tele staff, you're still fine. Whoa, what the hell? Why did that eat up all of my gold? Druid sounds interesting since of the new changes. Well, see, that's the thing. Druid they didn't even adjust anything on the Druid though, if I'm not mistaken. Like, okay, one sec. Like, okay, wow, the Druid now has you can now like summon all of your wolves and whatever, right? But at the end of the day, you're not really going to. It's not really going to affect like Windy Druid. Like Windy Druid didn't really get changed all that much. Fire Druid got some changes, but are you really going to be running Fire Druid? Probably not. Like even with all these changes, there's a lot of fire immune monsters. Also, yeah, when I tried to play D2R, I always felt Sork I could just tally up to whatever I wanted. Where like Hammer, I had to walk, and also as Hammer, even if they have no immunes, I felt like I died less and had to get close to mobs. We were talking about strength gear and not having good gear. Okay, awesome. That helps me narrow it down even more. To be completely honest with you, then I actually would recommend Hammerden if that's what you're looking for. And more on that in a second. I need to find a character that actually has some gold to dump over to my Necro. So if you just bear with me for a second, trying to hook myself up. How about this guy? Does this guy have a decent bit of gold? Ah, good enough. Actually, hell, I'm never going to be using this character, so... Okay, awesome. Alright, done. Alright, All right, I'm pretty much done messing around with this character. I had my fun, but it's time to go back to doing what I wanted to do. So, yeah, Tele is great for skipping mobs. When it comes to killing efficiently, you become limited to the areas that your element works in, unlike HDN versatility. Yes. Early mid-game Trapson is great. So, Fever is right here. I think if you're, yeah, like, honestly, if you're looking for a character that is a little bit safer than the Hammerdin, and still very mobile, then yeah, Trapson is probably the best option here, actually. I was going to recommend Windy Druid, but the reason why Trapson, I would say, isn't bad, or is actually pretty solid, is that they have everything that you are looking for. In the early game, they have burst of speed, so you're not actually all that slow trying to get around the map. They're not as mobile as the Paladin who has vigor and charge, but with burst of speed, it doesn't feel like a slog to get anywhere, even if you don't use a teleport staff. The second thing that the assassin has is Cloak of Shadows, and also what is it, Shadow Warrior. So that allows you to have a reusable meat shield, and Cloak of Shadows allows you to blind everything in the area. So it's a much safer character, and you're less prone to dying as an assassin, I guess. Especially because the traps that you're using are going to be at a specific range. Thinking about Light Sword, but yeah, I don't know, many immunes. See, that's a thing, right? Like, if you're playing as an assassin, your traps do lightning damage, but Death Sentry has a corpse explosion component attached to it. So that gives you a response for dealing with with monsters who are light immune, because you can nuke the monsters around them with your lightning sentry, and then your death sentry can pop their corpses and kill those monsters. So yeah, if you're looking for some dual element that is quite versatile and very quick, that's not a Sork, then I would recommend giving the Trapson a shot. Yeah, and it also has the added benefit of being able to kill just about anything, really. Like it can certainly run bosses. It's not as fast as the Sork or the Assassin, because it doesn't have static field and doesn't have absurd magic damage on hammers. But let me actually show you. I actually want to take this time to demo the Trapson, and funny enough, this is the one character I don't have on here. One sec. Oops. I just realized I'm running out of space on my main account for making characters. I could probably do 2 more, and then I'm gonna have to. Well, I mean, if I'm still playing 2 seasons from now, but anyway, I'm gonna have to make some room on a different account, or make a brand new one. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, okay. Good new information to think about. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Here. If you're still watching, I'd be more than happy to demo for you the Trapson. Now, keep in mind this is an endgame Trapson, but I can show you kind of what the potential of the character is. Your stream quality improves so much. Adding ASMR would be appropriate. You can hear springs in your chair, mouse. I can't tell if that's an insult or not. That's a well, not insult, but I can't tell if that's if you're jokingly saying that my stream is now picking up everything, or if you're saying that in your room from your breathing. Yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely some changes to the my stream arrangement. Yes. So I don't know if it's a good thing, if it's a bad well, hopefully it's not a bad thing. Like, I'm worried about it because it definitely doesn't sound as, I mean, usually it's not as booming, I guess. Reload the magic find barb where I can fear mobs and then just kill the mob you want. But it sucks for mass killing like cows. So yes, ups and downs with all classes, I guess. Yeah, it sort of does. Like, okay, let's start off with this, because here's the thing about barb. Okay, I'm gonna show you what this barb is capable of. or sorry, this Trapson is capable of, but I actually want to show you the Barb also in a second, if that's cool with you. So you can kind of see this Trapson, who's not like even fully decked out. She has 8,000 max or top end lightning sentry damage. So, and this is, oh, keep in mind, I didn't even make it to infinity either. So yeah, I could probably kill shit even faster. But for the time being, I'm only rocking infinity on my Merc. But as you can see, with burst of speed, I run like turbo. I have the AOE from, you just put lightning, which is similar to what a Sork would have, and then you put a death sentry, and you can basically get the lightning on the Sork's lightning, and you can also get the Necro's corpse explosion. It's like a love child between the two builds. The problem, of course, is that you can't really control where the lightning sentry goes. What you could do, you can pop Cloak of Shadows, and then you can put. You see, like, you can actually try to. Oh wait, okay, these guys are immune to lightning, but you can put the lightning sentry like here, next to like the monsters that you want to actually hit, and then it's fine like that. Also, one of the upsides to playing as a Trapson is, if you're worried about dual elements, it turns out that, oh, what's that? I can't do anything about these lightning immune monsters, and my death sentry isn't available. Well, check this out. Boom! Look at that. Look how quickly I can just take them out. Look at that. So here's the funny thing about Trapson. In the early game, you don't really have... Your Fire Blast isn't going to do that much damage, but as you can see, it receives a lot of synergies from, the 6 listed skills here. So these synergize with each other. Your traps, or your lightning traps, and your Fire Blast will synergize to the point where as your character reaches like level 90 whatever, right, your character will start to be able to deal with these, your Fire Blast is going to do more damage to kill these monsters more quickly. So, that problem that you're talking about, running into monsters who are immune with the lightning Sork, you actually don't really encounter it with the assassin because you will always have a response. If your lightning sentry can't kill them, your Fire Blast can, and if your Fire Blast and your lightning sentry cannot kill them, then your Merc should be able to with physical damage, and also via the physical damage component on death sentry. Okay, so that's one of the things to consider about playing the assassin. Some other upsides to note. Again, you have access to Fade if you want to choose that over Burst of Speed. You can summon a Shadow Warrior. And my personal favorite is that you get 3 life per point into Vitality. So she's innately very tanky. Now she has this one has 1,800 life, even with a lot of points. Like, this is without battle orders. So she's not squishy at all. Plus, you can Mind Blast light immunes. Yes, exactly. Thanks for bringing that up too, Fever. Yeah, that's also a really good point. So you will always have a response. If you're looking for something that can clear out 80% of content, then Assassin can very easily do 80% of content. Now, the drawback is that it's not going to be... It's like a jack of all trades, master of none, right? You're not going to be able to go into most areas and have this character be the #1 clearing character. Like, for example, if I go into cows, it takes time to put down the traps, so I'm still going to be beat out at the end of the day by either a Javazon with its insane AoE, or with the Necro who actually has the non-Walmart corpse explosion. Okay? So, yeah. Let me also show you one other thing. I want to actually show you how this character performs against bosses. So let me just see if I can get that up and going. What if you want to find the runes for that lightning weapon for Merc? No, for Merc Insight. No. Okay, so here, the Merc Insight. What do you mean the Merc Insight? You're talking about Infinity, or you're talking about Crescent Moon? Because there's some people who do make them like, look at this. Hold on. Oh shit. Oh, okay. Hold on. Wasn't paying attention here. Let me Cloak of Shadows, and then I'll. There we go. I was too busy talking here, but yeah, I should be popping Lightning Sentry into Death Sentry. Look at this. Now everything dies. And then I can actually... Like, this guy is like fire enchanted. That's why it's taken so long to die, but you can see I got this. What if you want to find the runes for that lightning weapon for Merc Insight, or what it's called, so you have no light immunes if you are in fresh shit gear? What would you recommend? Depends if you're trying to self-find. Yes, yes, exactly what Farallon said is kind of the situation. If your goal is to self-find the runes, I earnestly believe, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise, that your best bet would actually be playing a Barbarian. But if your goal is to, or if you're going solo anyway, but if your goal is to try and farm for, if your goal is to try to trade, there's a number of different ways you could go about doing that. That make mobs have no light immunes. Well, it's not no light immunes, it's most that will get rid of the light immunes. The endgame runes rec for it. Runes requirement for it. Okay, you're talking about infinity then. In this case, you're talking about infinity. So your question is, if you know, basically, if your goal was to try to get an infinity ASAP, then what would I recommend? And honestly, my answer to that, and a lot of people are going to disagree, is actually going to be a barb, especially a singer barb. If you've been on my channel around, or if you've been around on my channel before in the past, when I was playing D2R, like late last year, you'll see that I was actually fairly wealthy with my Barb. The reason being that he's an extremely good farmer for Trav. Trav is one of the best areas in D2R to get runes, and so if you're playing a Barb, you have find item. So you're basically doing like 1.5 runs for every run of Trav. So it's just a question of that at that point of getting a character like to be. At that point, it's just a question of getting your character to be strong enough to handle Trav, and then yeah, like and your runtime's down, and then your farming should be perfectly okay, you know. Okay, so I finished out Chaos Sanctuary. Now let me show you what happens when I try to get Shadow Warrior, and watch this, okay? You can see here. You see that, like, seriously, if I had the Lightning Center, or sorry, if I had Static Field, like, it would be a lot quicker dealing with Diablo, but look at this, right? I know I'm teleporting around, but that's, granted this is on Players 1, but I imagine that's mostly what you're going to be running. Like, you're going to be playing Players 1, you're going to probably be farming on Players 1 most of the time anyway. If you're going to be farming most of the time on Players 1, then, like, this... that's like it takes about 10-15 seconds to kill Diablo if you don't have like, you know, Infin or some other source of conviction or lower res. If I had a lower res one on Switch, I could probably kill him way quicker than this. But I'm just kind of showing you. I'm just trying to kind of trying to show you that when it comes to the Trapsin, this is kind of what you can expect in the later stages of what the Trapsin is capable of. What character is best for Key Farmer? Ah, good question. Which type of key? Because here's the thing, okay? If you're talking about terror keys and hate keys, I think the best key farmer for those is going to be a Sork, hands down, because they have teleport to start. And you could just go lightning, and you could just, you know, farm T keys, D keys, T keys. But what most people won't tell you is that T and H keys are not really worth as much as D keys on D2R, right? Like on D2R, D keys are worth quite a bit because people just straight up don't know how to farm them or aren't able to farm them even if they know how, because maybe they opted to go Sork and their character's just not really cut out for it and they don't have the gear for it. So which character is best for key farmer? I would, if I had to choose, probably the best character for D key farming, in my opinion, would probably be a Trapsin. Because, let me see if I can show you here. Here's the thing also to keep in mind about D keys. D keys are very... A lot of people were going to be looking for D keys over TNH, so they're going to pay more for those than D keys. Okay, so watch this. Okay, Cloak of Shadows. I know I'm skipping through most of it, but straight up, if you do this, you go Lightning Sentry, you Cloak of Shadows everything, and then you can just let the Lightning do its... Oh, okay, well, Neelithak right now is Lightning immune. Okay, that's just bad luck, but you're going to have to take my word for it here. Yeah, like, Assassin's pretty solid for that. Like, you basically just pop Burst to speed. Key point. Telly doesn't help you as much for the D key. Thank you. Yes. Fever. Yes. It always has got me. That's what I was trying to say also earlier. The D keys, like the position of where Neelithak is fixed. If you're going to be farming D keys, you should know that there are 3 ways that Halls of Pain can spawn, which Halls of Pain is where the waypoint next to Neelithak is. And then when you make it to Halls of Vought, there is a way of determining, like, you got to look at, like, the faces on the wall. Like, there's, like, a specific, like, again, like, you can basically know where to find Neelithak every single time, is really the bottom line here. Yeah, look at that. See? That's what I'm talking about. I got a D key like that. I just straight up off-screened him. It would be a similar situation if you were on... Yeah, it would be a very similar situation if you were on D2 or if you were on D2R, because you would basically. Oh shit! Oh no! I misclicked off the screen. Ah, I don't even think I picked up the D key. Hey, what's up, Eric? It's good to see you. Hope you've been well. You caught me at a very interesting time because I'm actually almost done. I'm going to be hopping off pretty soon, but I wanted to help this cool gentleman over here, Mr. J, and kind of give him some insight as to what types of... the recipes are all the same as vanilla D2, except making... Gull plus TP scroll equals, which you sell to vendor to spawn declone. Okay, great. Sorry about that. Eric was saying Trapsin, Windy, Hammer are amazing for farming keys. Yes, I would say as much. I would still, especially if you're not as familiar with Windy and even Hammerden, I would suggest Trapsin, because Trapsin is it's a very safe character. You straight up just put your traps down and you can off-screen a bunch of monsters. You have Cloak of Shadows, you have Fade, you really, and Shadow Warrior to tank. Like, you have a lot of survivability tools, which are very useful when dealing with Neelithak, because otherwise he'll just nuke you with Corpse Explosion. So, yeah. So what would the plan be to make a light sork? Okay, so more on that in a second, Mr. J. Eric was also saying light sork or H-din. Oh, okay. You're responding to Mr. J on that. It's good to see you. I tried to participate in that conversation. Yeah, and it's a very good participation for sure. Maldives was saying, which new level 85 plus areas do you think will become the new pit run? I'm gonna be flat out honest for you. Or with you, I don't know, because I don't even know what areas they made into level 85. I looked at it, I glanced over it very quickly, and I just said, TLDR, and I just left it. To be quite honest with you, if I were to pick one, I would go with, what is that place called? I think Stony Tomb might be pretty good. Like, I haven't ever really farmed Stony Tomb, but I noticed the thing with a lot of Act 2 tombs is that they actually have some pretty high mob density due to all the skeletons that spawn. So it could very well be the case that if Stony Tomb is indeed a level 85 area and it has good mob density, then a lot of people are going to opt to try to farm there in order to get their TC87 items and high runes, as my guess. Okay? Plan on ladder reset. Well, what am I going to play? Plan on ladder reset is going to be to play... I haven't decided yet. That's the thing. I was telling people about this earlier. I've played... what's it called? I had a build in mind. I played it. Didn't quite work out as well as I wanted it to. So tonight I have to decide, like, make a final decision on if I'm gonna, like, what build I'm gonna play. Same thing with tomorrow morning. But yeah, you're gonna find out tomorrow, I guess. So I'm actually not sure. Sorry. My plan for ladder reset, I don't really have a plan, but I can tell you I'm probably going to be not spending too much time on this season. I'm probably just going to play during reset weekend, and then after that, I might be vamoosed as per the usual. I'll come back later. Oh, dude, I gotta go. Mr. J, hey, it was a pleasure. Damn, there's so much more that I wish I could tell you about, but tell you what, Mr. J, could you come back tomorrow? I'll be here around this time. I'll be more than happy to like talk to you in much greater detail about this, because I gotta go. Or well, I think I'm gonna call it here. The last thing I even wanted to show before I sign. Oh well, actually, I need to do one run with my Fury Druid and talk about the build, but. One thing I wanted to show to Mr. J is going to be this Whirlwind Barb and what a fully decked out Whirlwind Barb is capable of, because if he's looking for something that's super versatile that can run any area in the game, I legitimately think that this guy right here is a very solid choice. Check this out. Not that. Okay, so... And very quickly, okay, maybe not every area in the game. Like, okay, he can run cows, but it'll be very slowly. Like, look at this. I'll be back for more info. Okay, yeah, tomorrow I'll be here, same time. I start my stream, like right now it's 12, like it's like midnight Eastern time, 9 p.m. my time. I will be starting 5 hours backwards from right now tomorrow. So like, what was that? 19 hours? Yeah. If you come back like tomorrow, I'd be more than happy to throw you more questions. We'll talk more about this. We'll get you a build that you'll be happy to play with. And I want to show you too, like this Whirlwind Barb, like this is the other thing I wanted to show you. You wanted a build that is really strong. You saw how quickly this guy crushed Trav, and I totally forgot to hork the bodies, but you gotta take my word for it. Now, this guy can totally run, what's this place called? River of Flame as well. Or not River Flame, sorry, Chaos Sanctuary. I'll show you how quickly he can crush Diablo as well. So, yeah, Eric, you're saying you always keep me hyped for ladder. Yo, I'm glad. Like, it always blows my mind that so many years later, or well, months in some cases, there are so many of you guys that still enjoy coming back for my content and actually seeing what weird, odd builds that I have cooked up, and even more so that in fact you're actually willing to even try some of these. That's always a pleasure as well. I'll do my best. It's 5 a.m. here. Oh, seriously? Oh, okay. Well, shit. And I actually don't have any teleport charges left, so. But yeah, you can kind of see like this Whirlwind Barb plows through everything. This is what a late game Whirlwind Barb looks like. Let me show you how quickly it'll dumpster Diablo, and then yeah, my ladder reset necro plan is to farm. Here. Actually, let me just show you. Okay, this is full health, right? Let me get my work on top of him. Decrep. Boom! Look at that. Look at that. That's how quickly Diablo dies with this. Ladder starting as Barb is just daunting. See, a lot of people say that, but I'm mainly looking for characters that have starting gear, but since I never have time to get endgame gear, maybe only 1 to 2 piece. Yeah, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. We will get you a class, dude. We will get you a build. I am hyped. Like, I'm telling you, if you're talking about builds, you've come to the right place. We can discuss builds easy, especially if you're looking for an alternative to Sork. Just the last thing I'm going to address from Mr. J is he was saying the plan to be make a key farm and farm keys, then trade to get that light weapon, or to make a single barb and farm. So there's a lot of different ways you can farm in a season. The game is built on RNG at the end of the day, so honestly, you could do whatever you want. I think that D keys is a very steady and solid way to make money because it's worth a lot. It's not that difficult to farm, and well, no, seriously, that's basically it. It's worth a lot, and it's not that difficult to farm, so you'll get rich pretty quickly, richer than all the other people who are basically farming uniques and sets for which there's going to be much more of a supply than there is a demand. So yeah, both are very viable options. I've also read they make some changes to Nova Sork. You use it as start spec. Really? Oh, interesting. I'm a noob to this game. I mean, I don't think I'd ever really open up with Nova because your character is going to be very squishy anyway, so I don't know. That's just me, though. For D2R, anyway. High hopes for Abaddon plus Swampy Pit levels, okay. Back to my ladder reset Necro. The plan is to farm pits and cows early on and effectively. Okay, awesome. Yo, I'm really curious to see how that goes for you, Eric. I definitely wanted to revisit the Necro at some point, but I'm just not there yet right now. I think I want to do some fun, weird build for this weekend and save Poison Necro for some other season if I ever decide to go ham again. D2D2 like, did someone say built? Yeah. I mean, actually, though, this is the right place to be if we're talking about strategies and builds and just odd things, right? Like, I hate to say it, I hate to be that guy who's like, I have a very different opinion from a lot of people who, are always like Sork, but I simply have a different opinion about Sork because, I straight up genuinely believe that if you're playing like a trap sin and just farming D keys, you're gonna make and you're willing to trade, then you'll make bank. At the end of the day, I guess this whole conversation is moot because people can just spam forum gold anyway, so I don't really know if it matters, but I just make the assumption that it's item trading, since not everyone uses JSP. Is this one of those ladders where you'll keep your build secret until the ladder reset day? Yes, but that's not because I wanted to do the smoke and mirrors stuff. It's because I'm not like 100% decided for once. Usually it's that, I want to surprise you guys. But no, this time I straight up am like, I haven't fully decided what build I want to do. I have a couple of options in mind, and I just need to select one and actually see if I can make it work. So that's for me to work out and think about, and I'll keep you guys posted tomorrow, okay? So that's basically that. The final thing I'm going to say with this stream is, as a final farewell to my Fury Druid, I would like to do one last run with the Fury Druid just to show you guys kind of what he was capable of, and more than that, I guess what his final gear was and what we could, what other things were available on that character. So let's pull up my end game Fury Druid here, who only ever made it to level 87 and no farther than that, which is a shame, really, because the area that I was planning to farm this season was going to be 1,000 Bale runs. But anyway, okay, guys, so this is it. Fury Druid, and then password is going to be Finale. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of how the runs looked. I mean, I've done plenty. You guys have already seen this character in action many times before. I just wanted to give one last send-off by showing you guys what this guy was capable of with Mephisto. I'm not going to go farm every single area. I just wanted to showcase how awesome this and fun this character was when... Oh, shit. Oh, here you go. Oh, yeah, look at that. That was me killing Mephisto, okay? That was the beauty of the Fury Druid. Really, it's just a question of his mobility, I think, but his damage is pretty solid. And AoE. He doesn't have AoE, he doesn't have that much mobility, but he has pretty huge chunks of damage. So, overall, really fun build. Do I regret playing this character? Absolutely not. I had a blast with it. It's been awesome. I've enjoyed it a lot. And I didn't even play it like that much. But it was really cool. I don't know how else to put it. I really don't. Hold on, I just want to check out one last thing. Ooh, wow, I actually had... Oh, because I ran double Angelics. Oh, that was my build. I remember now. Oh, man, hold on. Sorry, it's been a while. I need to look at my character again. Yeah, normally I run Angelic Amulet and then Angelic Rings for attack rating. But I guess in this case, I realized I didn't need Ravenfrost because being frozen doesn't really affect the attack speed on a werewolf, like not that much. So I opted to go High Lord's Wrath so I could get the Deadly Strike. And then I wanted the attack rating on Angelics for hitting Mephisto, so I opted to go Angelic Mantle. So that, yeah, Angelic Mantle with Angelic Rings gives me the two-piece bonus for double attack rating. I don't get the MF, unfortunately, on these rings. If I had a third piece, I could have 50. Well, I could have like an extra 100 MF on these rings, but that's whatever. So, yeah, Angelic Mantle, armor. That means I have to sack Enigma or Fortitude, but that's okay though. I don't really think Well, I don't know. Maybe Fortitude would have been a huge jump in damage. I can't remember, but whatever. I'm not really here to test that anymore. I played as much as I could with this character, and this is kind of where we ended up. So, belt with string of ears. Helmet was G-face. I didn't bother trying to socket it with anything. Normally, I'd like to throw a Cham into it, but I didn't really think there was a point in this case because, again, I was running Fury Druid, and I didn't really have the wealth for it either. I mean, I had a Burr rune, yeah, but I'm not gonna trade Burr for Cham or try to like scrounge around for a break on a Burr just to sub out for Cham. Gore Riders, obvious choice. I don't. Deadly Strike, Crushing Blow, Open Wounds. Not really much to be said there. Laying of Hands, as always, a very obvious pick. IAS, which doesn't really help me too much, but I get 350% damage to demons, which is absolutely fantastic. And then finally, this bad boy, self-found, you guys, self-found Windhammer. Very happy about this. Very, very happy about this Windhammer. I couldn't believe that I actually self-found it. Truly an amazing, like, I don't know how to put it. That's just, this is easily my coolest find this season. There were people who brought up all sorts of other ideas. I mean, there were a few that came up. I don't remember all of them now, but I remember, I think one of the most common ones that was brought up was Ethereal 3 Open Socket Tomb Reaver. I didn't bother going for that. I don't think anyone had an Ethereal 3 Open Socket Tomb Reaver, or at least didn't post it on Reddit, as far as I know. But yeah, Windhammer, solid choice. And yeah, you guys are, well, especially with that Zod rune, very well worth the Zod rune. This thing just boosts the damage on this guy to the point where I'm hitting 100% CB, and yeah, I came to learn the importance of CB even more. Plus the IAS, plus the ED, just absolutely fantastic, and plus damage to undead, because why not? Okay, so that's great. What about my inventory? Yeah, go figure. I didn't actually ever get a torch for some reason. Yeah, I didn't even get a D-torch. That's how incomplete this character is. I had a few MF charms. That's to try to boost my MF apparently up to 69 for some reason, or maybe I just self-found these and I decided to throw them in there. Found some small charms, assortment of random small charms. Yeah, these are probably finds from myself. I think that's what happened. These are just all items that I found. But if I had a choice, I probably would have tried to fill in my inventory with a torch, an Annihilus, and a bunch of MF small charms. I found a 15 all-res GC, and then also Geed's 34 MF. Yeah, and then on Switch was Staff, obviously. Stat points wise, yeah, most of my points went into strength. I think I put a bit into dex, or maybe that's my gear that's adding points to dex, and then of course Vit with some points so that I wouldn't just immediately die if I wasn't in werewolf form, since I'm not in werewolf form when I'm teleporting around, so I'm actually quite vulnerable there. I'm relying on my Merc and my Bear to tank a lot of the damage in this form. Especially because, yeah, I don't even have very much resistances. What else can I say here? Skills? Skills. Oh, yeah, right. I mean, skills, not particular, or skill point allocation, not particularly interesting. I mean, very straightforward. Werewolf into Lycanthropy, maxed out on those. Prerequisites on Feral Rage and Rabies, maxed out Fury, duh. And then finally, oh, you know what? I just realized did I summon Heart of Wolverine previously? Maybe I did. I think I actually did. But yeah, Heart of Wolverine max as well. That's basically what I need to get this build up and going. And then I can't remember if any of my points went anywhere else, because with the excess points, I really have nowhere else to put them. I could have put them into Fire Claws if I wanted a response to fire immunes. I gotta put them into freaking Cyclone Armor, I guess. Could have put them into one of the Creepers. Could have put them into Bear so that it's tankier. I don't know. But really, I got all the core components of this character going. And yeah, it hit really hard. It really did. Just looking here. 63% Deadly Strike, 100% CB. Just overall really fun build. And not really dependent on IAS either, or sorry, off-weapon IAS. Look at that, 5k Fury damage, and this is without Fortitude either. So imagine if I had Fortitude, maybe different story. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think that's everything, though. That's a wrap, and this is where I'm going to probably say farewell to you guys. Until next time. Next time is going to be tomorrow. So yeah, that's my Fury Druid. Ta-da! Finishing it off for the season. Rip, Fury Druid. Rest in peace. You've been a blast. But I mean, I guess that's rich for me to say because I didn't really play much this season. So who am I to be all like, oh, rip this build one? I didn't even do too much with it. Anyway, guys, last thing. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna hop off now. Or I'm just about to hop off. Last thing I just wanted to do, absolute last thing. I'm just gonna recap today's stream. I talked about. I mean, this is with I think you guys not really saying much. So this is a good time to stop. No, hey, Enjoy, what's up, man? Yeah, funny timing. You just started watching? Yeah, sorry, dude. The timing is pretty rough. I even extended my stream. I was supposed to end at the 2 hour mark, but here we are, 2.5 hours in. I'm still here, so yeah, sorry. I can't stay any longer than this. But it's good to see you, Maverick. I hope you're doing well. Quick question for you. Are you going to be taking part in, I mean, if you're, I have the post up for the last minute heroes. 5 of the slots are already filled up. If you know that you're gonna join tomorrow, then I'd be more than happy to reserve you a spot. But it sounds to me like you're not actually going to be playing, so I am going to pass it over to somebody else. Is that cool? Or is there the possibility that you might actually be joining, or what's the play there? Because I'd rather make sure that if you're not playing, then probably I should just pass it over to somebody else, right? But yeah, that's for you. Anyway, just to recap, one last time, because I've said a lot, but here you guys go. So today's stream, I got a chance to, I mean, catch up with a lot of you guys. What I talked about, or what I wanted to talk about, was that I am going to be playing next season, and that I haven't decided what I'm going to play, but I will decide probably by tomorrow. And I'm not going to be playing too much. I'm probably just going to play this weekend and just kind of chill out after that. Next thing that I was talking about was I was talking about that, yeah, I'm actually doing fine, but unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be doing regular streams anymore for like probably ever. As unfortunate as that sounds. Despite the fact that there's actually a lot I want to do. Next time it would be fun to really talk about some of the things I've done in the last 10 or 14 seasons, I think. And even after that, also talk about what other things I came up with that would be fun to try and do. D2R, I said a lot about that too. I think that all in all, I was originally pretty peeved about it. I've mentioned that in the long run, I think this is probably better for most of the regular players as a whole, that they're trying to make more builds viable. But I do think that there are some underlying problems that they straight up haven't ever really addressed, like things like the whole realm, or like the timeouts for joining games are still a thing from my understanding, and the botting issue, and they still haven't really come up with ways to deal with that. Also, they are trying to roll out the patch 2 or 2.5 patch, but they didn't even bother trying to like do anything. They didn't even try to do a ladder reset before that. It would have been really nice to get a vanilla ladder reset once, just once. That's kind of why I bought the game in the first place. And then we play the D2R stuff, or then we can play the 2.5 patch changes. That's what I was thinking. Anyway. But yeah, my plan is still, like, when D2R ladder happens, I will be taking part in that. I'll probably be part of a team, hopefully, and I'm gonna be playing my Singer Barb and trying to get my Enigma ASAP. If you fill all the 8, go for it. If there's vacancy, I'm down. It all depends on my work. Okay, sounds good. I will try to fill all 8 then, if that's the case. Because again, I feel bad like turning people down every season, and then turns out that some people can't even make it, and that those people would have been quite happy to fill in these spots. But anyway, yeah, it's all good. Uh, yeah, and that's going to be the extent of my gameplay on D2R. Probably I'm going to play one good ladder reset, and then I'm going to just ditch the game and not touch it after that. I'm just going to play Slash if I were to play D2. I mean, that's how I feel. I've always played for gameplay, not for these fancy graphics that they have. It's good eye candy, but I can get my eye candy somewhere else. Okay, that's everything. Final, like finishing off. I also showed gameplay for my Poison Necro. Got a chance to farm with that. Do a full clear of the, or not really full clear, but I tried to just farm a lot of random areas for 2 hours. And then I also showed off my Whirlwind Barb and my Trapsin and my Whirlwind Barb to Mr. J, who is looking for what to do next season on D2R. And then I get to play my Fury Druid. So yeah, all in all, really fun, cool, chill stream, and it was a pleasure. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. Hope you guys have a lovely evening, and hope to see you all tomorrow. Stay well, guys. All right, well. Yeah, that's basically everything. So, thanks everyone for hanging out. See you guys tomorrow. This is D2D2. This is D2D2 signing out.